What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're locked in for another electrifying night here in the Mukbang lead, and this one is guaranteed to deliver. Every drone, every angle, every clutch will matter because in this game there is no room for hesitation because there's some pride on the line. I'm the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you say there, Whiskey?
Yeah, that's right. Welcome, everyone, to the semifinals, Mukbang Season 7. And this is our 5th season that we worked with the Mukbang League for a while. So this feels like going back to our roots a little bit. Part of the thing we love, getting to watch all of the players in the T4 scene fighting their way up. And certainly there's some rising stars on here, quite literally, since we're going to see DayStar Rising taking on the Space Shoobs. And I know, Glitter, you alluded to it earlier, but there's some crazy roster swaps that have happened. But before we get there, we'll take a quick look at the bracket, my friend.
All right. A little bit small on my screen. If you could walk them through this one, there's a couple of big names on this run.
Yeah, that's right. We're watching teams that fought through it like crazy all the way through, including some of these playing on LAN as well. But way back in the quarterfinals, just one match ago, got to see the Space Shoobs take on the Space Shoobs MX team. I love that little bit of storyline as well. But down the bottom of the bracket, waiting for the winner of this game, is Temper. Temper has been on a roll for sure, and in the Mukbang League, they are waiting, already scheduled for the grand final. But first, we got to find out which one of these teams is going to make it, my friend. So we talked about the roster swaps. Here they are.
Yeah, a bunch of fun ones, right? Space Shoobs taking on DayStar, and you honestly couldn't write this story better, right? The DayStar core there had been Space Shoobs, ACAD, and a couple of others, right? Core and landing themselves finally in DayStar. Butcher was on that team, Scoob on the other side. I mean, these teams, well, they got a little bit of insight into each other, Run.
That is going to be such a great part of this, right? Butcher has literally been on the Space Shoobs team for 1 day just about after leaving the DayStar Rising team. So we said it, the swap back and forth. Scoob.Shoob for so long, but the legendary players over on DayStar Rising are going to put up a hell of a fight. Maybe a T4 league, but this is the future of T2, my friend.
Right, absolutely. So to find out who is going to make it to that final, we first got to find out where in the heck are we going. Let's take a look at the bands.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
Cafe,
I love
Consulate. You can see a couple of them off the board early, Run.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite map lineups, I think, in a best of 3 for Siege. Bank, Chalet, and Nighthaven. And the fact that we don't have to see, right now, DayStar Rising, one of my favorite teams. They banned Consulate and Skyscraper, 2 of my permabans. I love that we're getting to see these 3 maps here in this best of 3.
Man, okay, it's time. Run, let's just get into it. This is the semifinal. It's Bank. There's pride on the line. The story, the script is writing itself. A couple of our favorite players being brought out here, and it's going to start on Bank. And Bank has kind of been a test for a lot of teams lately, right? It's a staple of the Siege competitive community, and yet there is so much variety on how you're going to play it. And that also is, of course, started with the bans. This new ban system has completely changed the way that some of these maps are being played.
Yeah, and I freaking love the way that this has changed up. I mean, we have seen varied styles across the board, whether it is banning all the hard breach, banning the breach denial, going for the shields, mixing it up completely, target banning. When you have 3 operators that you can take out in a half, gives you tons of opportunity. And there's so many great operators now that I think we absolutely, the Siege community, needed the extra bans to change up the way the game is played. And we talked about breach denial and shields. Well, we're going to see Space Shoobs go ahead and pick up both here to start off.
Yeah, no kidding. And then on the attack side of it, Dokkaebi off the board. Bank's a big map. You can have some roam games, some lurkers going, so take the phone call off the board. They can suss them out. And, of course, the Hatch Queen, which makes sense. We are going down to the basement to start this one out. Run defense. Going to be bringing out some fairly standard operators for this bottom. We're going to be in denial mode with a side of intel. We have Smoke and Glow to make sure that you can't get that quick action into sight. And then, of course, Valkyrie looking for some of that C4 action. Denial, denial, denial run.
10 seconds to go.
I mean, preventing this team, DayStar Rising has got, we talked about it, some rising stars, some known names. This is going to be a tough team that they've got to beat. And you know what? It's not, we're not playing for $20,000 here tonight, but there's a lot of pride on the line. A lot of shotguns here as well from the DayStar Rising side. And look at this, playing up top aggressively here to start on the defensive side. Really only one player downstairs, just Zers in the bank. Everybody else upstairs holding some of those positions on that first floor.
Okay, 1 second here, run. Okay, there we go. A little bit of damage already done on the Butcher as he's reduced to a very low HP very early on. Might get to see maybe a bit of a spawn peak or something, but they're going to try to put the pressure on as this top-down clear is already starting to chase the top.
Yeah, that's right, and there it is. Lecky finds number one. A Butcher goes down. The opening pick here for the defense. The Shield trying to fight another, but it's a bit of a distraction as he wins that battle. Just loses a little bit of life there from the goo mine. And take a look at this. The defense still playing very aggressively, right? Second floor, first floor, it's still just Zers holding downstairs, and even he's making his way up. There's a big opportunity here for the Space Shoobs attack if they can even get close.
And yeah, it seems like they're getting plenty close, right? They've got 2 defenders off the board. They've taken space onto that second floor already, and a bunch all pushed in on the first. They're going to put them pressure onto the player here down in E2, and then that's going to drop them back. Then everybody be turtled back down, which is the right call, right? Because you are down in the man advantage, and time will start ticking away. With that denial that you still have on the board, you're going to be able to stall them out for a good long time, even low on the body balance.
I wonder whether or not this was going to be a problem for the Space Shoobs attack, the fact that they didn't really bring an awful lot of hard breach, but so far they've been able to open up everything that they need, and now DayStar feels like a little bit on the back foot at this point. Zers taking some shots downstairs, but it is still Kaysen left alive. Lecky, Zers, these 3 guys trying to hold this down, but the attackers have got plenty of shots, plenty of sight lines opened up, all of those hatches. They go to take the fight upstairs and lose that battle in a 4v2 now.
Man, that's a tough one. You go for the retake that vertical, just get deleted. They're going to start to push in now as Exceed is going for a bit of that turtle plant. He's going to take it to 50 to 75. Smoke not going to be able to stop him. They go for another, try to retake up onto the hatch and pays the price for it. And now it's going to be Kaysen last alive, and it's going to be a double pistol pop for the body drop.
Yeah, boy, they really did a number upstairs. Just even though I like the way that DayStar Rising was playing this aggressive defensive hold, took some shots, but Space Shoobs just winning a couple of those ones early, gained the advantage, and then a 4v2 post-plant scenario. Really tough climb back for anybody here, and the DayStar Rising team couldn't find a way to battle through it. So Space Shoobs pick up one. Gonna see now one more shot. They're gonna play the basement one more time. No, second floor. Hold down upstairs and change up the lineup here, bringing out the Azami before she can get banned, plus the castle. They're going to block off all those sight lines, force the Space Shoobs to maybe get creative, see whether or not the windows are going to be a big piece of this action, but I like the combination of the Womai thrown in. It's a good defensive lineup, my friend.
I like it, yeah. It's all static warfare. It's all slow you down, and castle, of course, becoming that staple for the top floor. On bank. So what's the adaptation by the Space Shoobs? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to bring in another spearhead, right? They're going to open it up with Ace. They bring out the Flores, and that's the right call here, is that you're going to get rid of all of that, not just extension util, but also that sight hold that's going to be devastating to get in. Let you be able to put some pressure on from the windows where a ton of that action is happening.
It's pretty late here working on the setup still. There's still 15 seconds into the round, working on it, checking to make sure they had the Claymore down for the run out to start. Now, picking up the second. Absolutely seems like a necessity here on Bank, especially with a team that has shown some just defensive aggression and making sure that even if he takes out one as he jumps out the window, he's going to pay the price for it. But with the Twitch coming in here, just starting to clear out defensive gadgets, but eventually shut down.
All right, so first minute is gone. You can hear the shield starting to get to work there. Put some pressure on. He's going to be the one wanting to get that plant in. Send in a couple of those Roteros. Disrupt that shield towards stock, and he's going to be able to get it. Just making that position a little bit more vulnerable. The attack coming in.
Look at this. Do they know? I don't think so. I think wide open. No, never mind. That ping's coming out and shut down there, losing the stock battle. And now sight lines open. I think that is a huge victory there for the Space Shoobs as well. Bit of a loss. DayStar still got 4v4 at this point with a minute 32. Half the round gone, but Xer picks up another.
Man, just the presence of mind to know that the peak was coming. Holds the angle. Rewarded. 2 go down. Now doubled up on that body balance difference. And Space Shoobs looking to find their second of the round. We still got a whole minute and 14 left. So, starting to put some more pressure on, some more Roteros coming in, blocking off some of those sight lines. Then the pressure here from Square is going to start to overwhelm that force into Janitor. They've got a couple of shots ready, but Schmeek is going to find it. Schmeek good for 2.
2 huge ones there at the end, running the DMR, and we talked about the windows playing an important part. That's where those final 2 kills come up, and Space Shoobs has picked up a double round lead here to start off on Bank. Now, this is their map pick. They started it off. We talked about that early, so it's the map they wanted, and I'm assuming expecting to start on the attacking side, and right now taking advantage of it. It's early, though, in the game of Siege. We're talking about a best of 3. Still plenty of time, and right now, Space Shoobs, we know that there's a lot of trading players back and forth. You talked about it during the rosters. You know, just feeling each other out. How's this particular game of Siege going to go on a Thursday night?
Well, it's going to have to start with Kason Statham getting activated against this squad. He's one of those names that we've been watching for a little bit now. One of those next up-and-comers. So it's going to start with him getting a little engaged in the gunfights and finding his first kill. Because Space Shoobs has been on a tear lately, right? Just been on an absolute tear. They're a force right now, Run. Space Shoobs are a force, so they are going to be the team to beat.
Early on in the best of 3, calling them out as the team to beat. These feel like on paper, very evenly matched between these two. So for me, a little bit tough to pick a favorite at this point. But right now, I mean, if you just take a look at the kill count, Space Shoobs certainly putting in all the work. Xer and Schmink both 4 and 5-0 apiece right now.
Yeah, that'll quickly start to become the win hunt here if it continues in that same sort of pattern. Scoob up onto the top floor, is finding himself under a little bit of fire as they start to put some pressure up here on the windows. All the way back down to the basement for sight, so it's hop down clear. Going to take a little bit more time, although Blitz is going to cut that in half as he's already made his presence known on Marble, Zombie, and Sophie. He's not going to get that final push in, but flash goes off, and he's
what a
to
play!
Make the drop down. Barely avoids that pistol. Butcher's going to be the one to fall, however, as Scoob is able to take him off that top floor, which means that body bounce is going to head into the hands of DayStar.
Man, what a play there. That was a great one, right? You got Jake Allen, you got Xsiege playing the shield, putting the pressure on, but manages to duck out of there just in time to save himself and this squad and put them up in a 5v4 scenario. Right now feels like DayStar's best opportunity here to pick up a defensive win. And we're talking about a basement site with a ton of action happening upstairs. He's fighting the battle on the second floor, but man, that is unfortunate there for him to go down early. Now, we've got 4v4 here with a minute 20, plenty of time on both sides. That puts a little bit of extra pressure here on this attacking team.
Yep, with one can opener left, gonna have to get some hatch play going. Which also means those walls are hardened up towards that server area. Could be the potential to not be able to get in or have to do it the old-fashioned way, a little door action. The pressure on Blue starting to hop in here. It's gonna be that spearhead in the hands of Exige, trying to shut down the smoke up there. A couple of canisters still left. In fact, just one now as he's wasting quite a bit of time. One more smoke will just completely deny this Blue push and allow him to get back down into sight to hold on. This has been a tough little play here.
Great use there of the drones, though, identifying where all the defensive utility is, giving him the little piece of intel. But they're going to back off and hold. Now it feels like they're waiting just a little bit too long to get this execute off. You got 25 seconds.
That's right. 20-second meta starting to fall into play here, Run, and they're going for the hatch here. Teddy's able to find Kaysen off the board, and that's going to solidify the blue. Bees start to go out and reveal those locations. They've got a cam. They're not going to have time to take it. He's going to make the drop and get ready for the plant. It's off the chassis. Turtle plant time. He's going to get it down with 4 seconds left. They just got to get a bullet on him to stall it out, and that's going to be the coil fire to take Soapy off the board. Attacker's going to find it, and they're going to do it 3 in a row.
Damn, that looked like that was DayStar Rising's opportunity. They had a little bit of the early advantage. 4v4 with a minute 20, but the Space Shoobs just took advantage in the right place at the right time. Again, going for the plant as well. No C4 denial there, ready and waiting, and the angle's well covered by the Space Shoobs. That's a great 3-0 start here to this best of 3, but not counting DayStar out at all as the next round of bans come in. And, yeah, I thought we might see Blitz go down there as Exige really been dominating there on that shield. But there's 2 more available for him to switch onto. We'll see if he continues that push. And, yep, looks like he's showing the Monty.
Yeah, just about immediately, too. So, and that's the problem, right? When you force a target ban onto an operator that you might not have banned out in the first place, it kind of jams you up a little bit. And the problem with it being a shield, when you're really effective as the spearhead, is yeah, you can take one off the board, but if it's a late round ban, you still got plenty more options that can be completely devastating. The thing that's going good, though, for DayStar is they now know how the Space Shoobs are going to play this. Right? 3 up, 3 down. You've seen the looks on the sites, which means take it back up to the 2F, back to the drawing board. I'm gonna rewrite it just a little bit. What's the strat this time? We're bringing out the Mira.
I love this changeup. Mira's so good, ability to hold on to some of those angles, and right now it feels like Space Shoobs have had the run. They've been able to make the push, and this way they can try and find ways to fight through that, hold on, block some of those angles off, and again from this side, it keeps some pressure on the windows. Don't allow this attacking team to gain some of that space and hold the cross. So this is a good change up here, and I love that Soapy's brought out the Ella. This is a great change, and really the fact that she's been a bigger part of the defensive meta here in the later years of Siege really feels like that's going back to some of those earlier years. Nostalgic.
Yeah, nostalgic, and it's just good for the shields, right? That Grizz model give you a full shield break, allow you to get some toe shots in, which ultimately can be the play against the shield. So hoping to get a little bit active. We've seen some gunfights, but no contest just yet as they open up that E3 wall. Get a little bit of intel on Castle sitting in CEO. Now they can start to make the move up. Now they know that Spyro isn't in immediate danger. They can take some of that space, start to put some pressure on, and force somebody to run in front of one of those cuts.
Here's the question. We talked about the Mira getting that utility down. It does. Zer's playing on the elevator on first floor. Does the attacking team know he's holding on to this spot? So, I know they've got one upstairs holding on to the elevator shaft on second floor, but that was the question. Zer's, he goes and takes the fight, and Scoob takes down Xer. What a shot, though! A double!
Good for 2, and that's the spearhead gone, and your repel, one of your cuts. Now you're looking towards that that repel action. You can hear him on there, just having an absolute banger day. It is a 5-4 or 5-4 what? 5-2 currently here on round number 4. I can do this one, I promise.
Oh, you got it out eventually, but right now, the danger that the DayStar Rising team Smink still holding on to that 7-0 lead, has not died once in this game yet, but now he's holding back deep in ATMs, playing with that the DMR, hoping to find an angle, hoping to find a shot, but now is he a 5v1 running outside, expecting in this defense to get aggressive, hunting him. This is certainly a defensive win.
Yeah, well, 7-0 here for Schmink. He's going to take it all the way back to the spawn. He's going to hold out and look to maybe, well, I was going to say maybe have a little bit of an impact on his KD, and it's going to do that, just maybe not in the direction that he was thinking.
Shut down, and there it is. The king finally goes down. Going to give everybody here at this point at least one death as DayStar has found their first. So the change up there, I mean, maybe losing the blitz. Monty made a little bit of an impact, but the well-placed shots of Scoob upstairs completely shut that shield down. So we'll see as round 5 here plays out. One more opportunity to see whether or not it's going to be a big change up. And look at this. Playing the first floor site, even though they had the option to go back to the basement, Space Shoobs has certainly dominated. So I like this change up in sight.
Yeah, me too. And open area kind of has become that normal Tersh site play. You know, put it in the routine, hold up onto the second floor, force the vertical, force the take. And it's a fun one. And what is the defense bringing along for that? Still leaning into that slowdown. They're going to bring out some intel, a little bit of denial as well. But I think Malusi going to be the big pick here on slowing down any of that quick plant capability. And Space Shoobs might be showing just a little bit as well. Not quick plant, but definitely room for some sped up post-plant scenarios.
I like Kaysen playing the mute here as well. This intel deny from the Space Shoob side, and that's immediately where we see the observer go, watching this Space Shoob's attacking team focus on the intel. They made great use of the Twitch drones early on, so trying to deny that piece of it, I think, is a fantastic call there by the DayStar Rising defense. But still got to deal with the players coming in at this point, and Schmink running the glass. That is a great play, and then, yep. We saw the gridlock, the thick lock come out. Emote there for Butcher, holding it down on Terrace.
There's able to find the first one, ram off the board. That's your vertical gone. I mean, gridlock, of course, could have that shotgun, but other than that, you're not opening up just about anything else outside of that hatchet to try to get down to the site. And you still got somebody playing up on the second floor. Kaysen Statham. He's trying to be a menace. He's trying to be an agent of chaos. Make sure he can waste as much time up there as he can. Already a minute down.
Yeah, running the util we talked about, but at this point, he has been an absolute menace to the Siege community here. And right now, this is not his game. He's not having one of the better ones. If he gets hot, this Space Shoobs team is going to have to watch out. So ultimately, try to shut it down early, the key. They still got Soapy downstairs holding with the Valk. And look at that, the long angle held by Glaz. We said Schmink was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he has been on the DMR. It's just deadly today.
And they're spread out all the way across as well, and they're going to find the first kill. Kaysen goes down as Butcher's able to take him down. That's going to put the body balance in the hands of nobody as we get equalized on the 4-4. Soapy still looking to catch his first kill of the game. He's got a C4 in hand, ready to stop that plant should it start to get going. Monty a little help, which means that C4 could be devastating. Smokes are out. Glaz is ready. Now it's into a owned position, potentially. We know that he's here. That's the big question. Legion 2 goes off, which means he's not going to be able to
What a
respond.
play!
Scoop good for 2. Legion just cracks right now. Butcher's able to take Zers off the board, but they maintain that body balance in a big way, and now it's all going to be up to Butcher. Scoop's on the 3-peat, the triple. You know what? Let's just break out the barbecue sauce because that man's going crazy on that 4-piece.
Yeah, what a play. Prone behind, uses the Legion Goose, plays off his gadget, shuts down the Monty, and then just finishes up the rest of that attacking team as they made the push in. Well played there, going to the tertiary site, shutting down the Space Tube. So they open it up with a 3-0 start to this map. DayStar Rising has come back in a big way, shifting the momentum, picking up 2 in a row. Now the question is, though, can they find the win in the basement? We saw it back on round 1. We saw it back on round 3. Both Space Shoobs attacking victories. DayStar really struggling to try and hold down this space. So then they had a very spread out, like a roam heavy defense, playing upstairs, all second floor, a lot of first floor presence on some of those rounds. So maybe they go for a little bit more of a bunker strat this time. Still have got the Hibana and the Blitz banned out, so those could be the difference makers. Ever since Blitz got banned, we haven't seen the Space Shoobs pick up a win.
Well, you know, maybe that was the ban. Even though you've got the others on the board, they don't quite bring that same style, right? Blitz is living up to his namesake. He's quick, he's in your face, and he'll take away your vision in the process. So, yeah, maybe that's the win con. We'll see here. It's the last round of the first half of the first map run, and we're gonna have to try to get it done on basement. This time, no Goyo on the board, sticking that smoke Mira play, and of course, making sure that Warden is able to stop any glass play should they have brought it. Not going to be the case this time.
Yeah, the change up here, Kaysen off the mute, back onto the smoke like you talked about. So it gives the drone intel here from the Space Shoobs a little bit of that extra freedom to move. Schmick running the Twitch again this time, looking to clear out some of these gadgets. And it's basically zero garage presence at this point, but nice shot there from the BP there to shut down the Twitch drone. That was well played, and then, oh no, Butcher shut down by Zers upstairs on the second floor. What a play! He picks up a double!
And Zers just being a menace across that top floor. He said, you're gonna have to come take me out. It was less of a roam and more of a surgical strike run. Now they've got the plans on him. Exer's able to take him off the board, but damage done. Body bounce sits into the hands of DayStar. They got some pretty important ones off the board. Getting that Twitch gone run, oh man, that's gonna be tough. Mira is gonna stay. C4 is not gonna be able to, or not C4's camera's not gonna be able to be taken out. Just everything is gonna be tough there.
Yeah, and the fact that you had upstairs Zers playing, the Jaegers already used those pieces of intel, so those pieces of utility. So even though they're going to be able to continue to clear out some of this projectile utility from the attackers, even though he's down, utility lives on. And right now you can see they've got a lot of control over here on the server side, plus the hatch. So see, just holding on to that case, getting ready for the plant, but man, backed up. We still have got 3 C4s. Damn, right as I said it, he goes down. 2 C4s left on the board for that final 50-second push.
Yeah, and that's the equalizer right now, Run. That is the 3 apiece, which feels a little good if you've got a shield that can push in, start to make that plant. He's holding on to it. So what we'd like to see here is sometimes you'll see him go for the turtle plant. Sometimes you'll see him just drop the diffuser and have him plant behind him. Trying to waste out those smokes is going to be the big problem. No makes his way in, not... Oh, and gets the Mira, but Scoob going to be good for 2. Lecky's going to take 1, and that's going to be a huge win.
Yeah, just playing back. The defense there are locked in. 3 players holding on to power positions, even though they had the push in from the server side. This defense not to be denied. So a bit of a pendulum swinging back and forth, my friend. Space Shoobs, if you're just joining us, picked up the first 3 rounds and looked dominant here on Bank, on their map pick. Really maybe talking a little about an early demise here for this DayStar Rising team, but they came back in a big way after those round 4 bans. Answered back 3 in a row themselves and have tied up the first half of the first map. We're in a best of 3 tonight in the semifinals. The winner going on to face Temper in the Mukbang Season 7 Grand Final.
Man, you can't beat that. That's going to be a hell of a game, but you got to get through this one first. And you know what? It's a little bit better than I cashed yesterday, and they were absolute blowouts, Run. I'm talking 7-1, 7-2s across the board. It's good to see that back and forth here. It's making it fun. 3-3 tied up. Now it's time for the op swap. We're switching gears. Going to see what the other side brings to the attack.
The fact that, right, we're seeing from the band side, Space Shoobs does not want to deal with the shields that they were so dominant on. No Monty, no Blitz. DayStar is going to go ahead and pick that same setup that the Space Shoobs did on their attacking round. Cade, Clash, gone. So who's that leave available upstairs at this point? Yep, going to leave. I can't believe we see Azami so often on the defensive side playing that she has really sort of shifted out of the defensive ban meta, leaving her available over and over at this point. But I really love this combo from Schmink, running the DMR again, sitting at 7-3. We talked him up an awful lot there in those first 3 rounds, and since struggled to get anything going, but not to be matched on the other side with Soapy and Kaysen. honestly, the fact that we're seeing those two guys sitting at 0 and anything at this point is a bit of a shock, and I'm definitely looking for them to get more active here in the second half.
Yeah, 100% is definitely why well, it's definitely a part of the tie-up here, right? We see those two get activated. Could potentially present a little bit of a different storyline. But either way, they're bringing in some quick action, a couple of 3 speeds on the board, and heavy intel, right? 2 droners. We've got the Twitch, we've got the Forest. Get rid of those castle barricades. Get rid of that Azami Kiba barriers. But also, it's the intel of... 0, and he's already getting a huge impact. Those things are hard to see from a distance. It's going to be a bandit trick, but they're going to just take it right off the board. He's got 1 left, which means he won't be able to cover both sides, and we still got a couple of Sam Cams in place.
That was just a second too late. He goes ace, throws the charge. They go to shoot the bandit battery off, but he gets it just in time to go for the trick, and that is unfortunate. He's going to get it again. No way. Zer's so unfortunate to be able to run the Sam Cams, do some work on that defensive utility, ultimately, though, to get thwarted. Great play there by Teddy and the bandit. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. It's Teddy, right? We have watched this guy play for a long time, and he's a beast. Don't leave him alone to bandit trick, because he's going to get that job done. Gone 6 goes out. See if they're able to finally get it. Try to use some of those that fire to push him out of it. Open up that E3 area and start to finally put some pressure onto him. Problem is it's already just a minute left. Zer's gonna find extra off the board as the man advantage gets equalized. Looking for some of that repel action. They've got somebody everywhere. Super sub Scoob is gonna find that next one. Body bounce back into the hands of DayStar, and starting to feel a little bit of momentum built up here. Defense just has to hold for another 44 run. You can start to see the bullets heading in from everywhere.
Yeah, there's still tons of utility here on the attacking side as well. I'm just going to say, they still have got a couple of the breach charges left, a couple of smokes to stack up. And man, Scoob sitting at 10 and 3. Siege is going to take down Sophie as well and keep him at 0 and 5. What a huge pick, but it's a 3v2 with very little time left.
DMR finds one as Exige goes down, held to just 2 in the match so far, but another one to fall. All of a sudden, Space Shoobs has brought it back, and they're going to have to just hold out. Both low health. It's a DMR to come in and try to find one. 2 seconds, not going to have enough time. He's going to go for the plant, but it's going to be dealt with quite easily as the hero of the beginning of the round becomes the hero at the end. We're full circle on the Teddy R6 play.
Damn, okay, Space Shoobs, starting the pendulum swinging the other way. The momentum stopped on the DayStar Rising side, unable to find success on the first round of attack, and that's going to be a Space Shoobs victory upstairs. And yeah, man, what a roller coaster ride on that round. Felt like we were going to see an attacking win, and all of a sudden collapsed at the end. Space Shoobs claimed that victory. So what are they going to do? What are they going to change up? I mean, change the site at this point, and I love the fact that they're running a completely different lineup. Vigil, Teddy on the Valk, and then Exige on, man, I love it, the Capcan.
Capcan is huge, right? Early on in the round, not necessarily going to be looking for it. They seem to have already spotted it out because Brav is here, maybe anticipating something like a Valk. Something like a Maestro, maybe. Either way, they're going to be set up and ready to deal with those cap cans. Got to find out what you choose to spend your clutch on, Run. Do you choose that intel, or do you get those traps?
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Oh, tough call. But they're not going to have to make that call in this round because Cludge gone. They're going to have to use the Twitch drone instead to try and clear out some of that utility. So Sophie here using that the combination of the DMR and a little bit of that extra intel that can fight back. I think they definitely got to focus on getting rid of the Capcan traps early on to slow this team down, because the DayStar Rising guys can move very quickly. They get into that position. Those Capcan traps coming late round can really slow this attacking down, but love that we're seeing this Defense on the Space Shoob side playing very aggressively too. Butcher's up here, holding down the top, looking down to ATMs, and you're seeing a couple of those orange outlines start to stack up and get ready.
Yeah, that's right, and they've got it pretty spread out here. It's a bank sandwich. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and 1 playing that first floor spoiler. And what is it doing? It's setting up a bunch of layers here that you have to break through. And the problem is, like, we're already a minute down, right? We haven't got quite enough space yet to be effective. You're getting drones in, but the intel is only good for 5 seconds, right? You got to act on that. So now all the way up to the 2F. First one off the board is going to be Lecky, which means that 2F hold going to be good for 2 before Teddy gets taken down. Equalized again, though. Soapy's going to find his first kill of the match entirely. Does put him onto a 3-3 currently.
Yeah, that was a huge one. Soapy gets that first. Now Kaysen looking for his as well. Man, the play between these guys, I was going to say, starting to be a little bit yappy in chat. We knew that was going to happen with the fact that you got some friends on these squads, teammates, former. The fact that we've got the Space Shoobs ACAD roster here on the DayStar as they've switched their names a few different times before landing on this final iteration. Speaking of final, we got 53 seconds left at this point. Wow, the creeping through the garage, shut down by Exige.
Yeah, that's just teams knowing each other, right? He's like, you know what? I bet Scoob's going to come on that late lurk that he loves to do. I'm just going to go prone and wait for him. They find
Cap can!
No way! The cap can trap takes hers off the board. Schmeek good for a 3. And Space Shoob's getting some strong momentum here towards the back end of the match.
Oh, no. The cap can trap coming out just as we expected. A little bit late in that round to find the 4th, leading up to that 5th and final kill that put the Space Shoobs up 5-3 at this point. They've won 2 in a row now here on the defensive half, but this game has been all about momentum, and DayStar is just looking for that opportunity. We're looking to see Kaysen get hot, start putting some pressure here on the Space Shoob defense, and the tertiary site, great spot to be able to do that. This was the first. Well, we saw one of the best rounds from DayStar on their defense here on this site. So we know they've got a handle on it. Can they shut down this Space Shoob's defense now with a combination of the slowdown from Teddy and Exige running those 2 ops? This could slow them down. That's plenty of C4s. 4 on the board for this defense.
Yeah, and you know, we didn't really touch on it here in the back end of the half.
10 seconds remaining.
But bans, right? Shields taken completely off the board
5 seconds left before
as
insertion.
being 3/4 of the bans here. Monty,
Attackers are
Blitz,
heading out
and
to
Clash
defuse the bomb.
all gone. This is the site where that really starts to get impactful. Yeah, you can bring the Blackbeard, but he's a bit of a risk. And the new season, Blackbeard's going to be a little bit tougher to use. Like 5 or 6 nerfs coming into it, so better start getting used to that sort of play right now.
That to me feels like one of the reasons we're not seeing Blackbeard played as much in the competitive play. Because yeah, the nerf's already announced, and honestly, nerfed into the fucking ground, man. This is exactly what I think a lot of the community had been looking for. Blackbeard was a little bit overpowered here as we moved into Year 10 Season 2, so huge nerfs here coming for the Blackbeard. Going to completely change him up, and honestly, it feels like he is not going to be a factor at all after you make all of those changes.
Yep, only one way to find out by tuning into the Siege Double Shot. We'll bring you the action. We'll show you what's going down. 5-3, first minute off the board here, run. They're looking to put themselves on a match point scenario, and they're trying to get it done on the terse site. It's all static warfare here. We're going to see that top-down take. They're already starting to open it up. We have many up on the second floor to really put that pressure on. So really just going to be Butcher playing spoiler, trying to play life up here.
I mean, for sure, you need to be more direct here holding onto this site. There's not a ton of vertical that's important aside from, I'm just going to say, aside from the stock side. And that is where we've seen already using the ram drones to come out. But, oh, there it is. Smick taking down the super sub. That is huge. Scuba's sitting at 11-5. And to finally take down the kill leader at this point certainly puts the Space Shoobs in a much better position. But They're answered back, and Exige goes down. A little bit of a, I don't think he had all of his batteries down at that point, so a little bit of passive utility at this point. Still got all these players left alive, my friend, but it feels like it is getting close to the end. 50 seconds left. They need to get going. Kaysen picks up his first.
They do exactly that, Run. It's just go back and forth trades. Lecky going to take Teddy off the board, and now with Kaysen finding his first kill, it's a 2v1. A quick slide onto the bottom of Marble. It's going to leave Schmink taking on Kaysen. Kaysen Statham, 1 and 6 currently. Bees start to go out as he's trying to suss the location. He's gonna find it. A pre-fire from the Vector as he moves around. Both of them are but a bullet, and it's gonna be the plant starting to go down. A C4 to ring out. He just gets out of the designated area. Now finds himself 13 seconds. This is a high time. Gonna have to make the swing. Instead, he's gonna get swung on. Kaysen takes off the board, and we're on a match point scenario.
Man, it came down all the way to the 1v1, and the Space Shoobs showed up when they needed to. And man, Schmink started off early, running the DMR upstairs, and just being an absolute menace, and continued that streak. I think, was that his 15th kill? Well, that was what we were looking to see Kaysen do here, and it came down to the 1v1, and right now just playing better in the spaceships. You said it. Match point, my friend. This is map 1 of the best of 3 between these two here in the Mukbang Season 7 semifinal.
They want to get that Vector and that C4 out of there. They take the mirror off. He says, you know what? He's just going to play Goyo. He's still got a weapon to use here. That Vector going to be devastation.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attack.
Okay, Run. It's Slowdown City. They're still bringing that intel. Teddy, though, going to opt for the P10 as they head upstairs. A little bit of denial. Double on the intel. Yokai as well. It's a tough defense.
Great call banning the Twitch. I think Twitch had been a little bit OP, both from running the DMR and just being able to clear out the gadgets. The team's so good at banked and making sure that they know exactly where all that defensive utility is at. Plus, if you're going to run the Goyo, if you don't have the option to play the mirror as well, it leaves those Goyo canisters intact significantly longer. So it's going to cause some of those slowdown problems here for the DayStar Rising team. We saw the switch in the first half after that third round. The full round rotate at this point, so now DayStar's had their opportunity to identify and watch out. Space Shoobs are playing defense, so that's the big question. Are we going to see them swing around, pick up another 3 in a row, send it to OT, or Space Shoobs going to close it out here on round 10?
That's a good question, Run. Can they be perfect for 3? Doesn't feel like this is DayStar Rising's map. Honestly, it doesn't feel like they're liking Bank as much, but that's the best part. You said it earlier. This is a best of 3, baby. You can lose one and bring it back in the back end, but the problem is, on the other side of it, you've got to take the Shoobs. You got to take down the Shoobs. Okay, here we go, Run. First minute off the board, drones starting to get in and get solidified, trying to find out where these yokai drones are. No shields onto the board for the Space Shoobs, just unwilling to bring that fuse or that Blackbeard presence. They are, however, going to get some Roteros in. Start clearing out some of those castles and some of those key barriers. There's a yokai drone from the main lobby, and that's going to put some disorientation onto the rappel. Couple that with a swing, and that could get pretty devastating.
Yeah, that drone, that is a dangerous one. But well played there. We see the Dokubi come out to try and counter this. I'm just going to say the Echo, but man, a triple set of trades comes out with Scuba finally on the end. But you still got Schmink. We said 15 kills left alive, a minute 20 at this point. That is plenty of time, but you can just hear the DMRs ringing out upstairs, holding on to those windows. So this is going to have to be the... Oh, no. No. Kaysen, well tossed grenade coming out. A 3v2 for that final minute of gameplay.
Well, a pretty good opportunity to at least get the scoreline a little bit closer. Still got some static warfare here. Mozzie didn't bring the C4, opted for the impacts instead. Still has one in pocket. Does get droned out there on the long table. Start to He's still looking for that repair, but they know that he's there, so he's going to make the rotate around, potentially start coming... rotating back up the spiral. I thought maybe he'd
Just
go
wasting
for a potential
time.
impact underneath, but no, he is just being an absolute menace. And now we're down to 26 seconds. A punch hole.
What?
Dexter's gonna find Zers. We're equalized on the body balance now as the 20 seconds ring out. Did get that phone call off, so he's got a little bit of intel on where they're at. The plant starts to go down. Glass takes it to 50, to 75. He's gonna push up. The crowd is there. Teddy's able to find him with the P10. 8 seconds left to get it done, and it's a low health scenario. Walking around to Banana. He's just gonna hold the angle and hide. It's gonna work. Defenders are gonna take it.
Oh, man, not just take the round, take the match. You said it is a victory. 7-3, my friend, for the Space Shoobs. A hell of a game on their map pick. We expected them to come up big. They pulled it off. Schmink that MVP, and he did have a hell of a good game to start this thing off. So well played here from the team. But you said it, best of 3, my friend. 2 more maps potentially to go, and we're gonna go into one of my personal favorites, Chalet, and DayStar Rising's map pick next.
Yeah, seems to be a little bit of a controversial take on that one, Run, right? Chalet being the favorite map. Nobody likes to play it anymore. Something happened.
I don't know why, man.
Something happened. It's the environmental ingredients. So, like, you know what? This changes the whole map. We're out.
It's gone,
That's it.
man.
We're done.
Yep.
Yeah, outie. Well, not today, though. We're going to see it next. It's going to be map 2, so sit back and relax, because when we come back, we're bringing you some more of this awesome match. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. If you're just joining us, welcome. We've got cookies. Happy to have you as we take on this semi-final in the mukbang, and that was a lie. I don't actually have any cookies. I'm sorry, it was all hype. I was in the moment. We're here with an absolute banger. It was a back and forth here on map 1, but Space Shoobs was able to claim dominance in the back end of the half and end that match 7-3, I believe, is where we got the final score on that. So, on to map 2, Whiskey. It's Chalet, baby.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this map. This is a huge opportunity here for DayStar, and we talked about during the setup that DayStar has had an awful lot of different names for this team coming in. They started off as, I mean, at one point, the Space Shoob Academy. They've gone through the Core Academy, but one of the games they played, the teams they played under, was the Underagers, because we've heard an awful lot about Kaysen, the Roller Sunday, Roller Saturday, I mean, Dream Team. The opportunity here, though, on the Ubisoft side is finally they have opened up a series, the seasonal series that's going to be taking place, and anybody to 13 can play. So this is a big change, moving away from the 18 or older play series. Now they've opened up the seasonal series to anybody over the age of 13. So that opens up a ton of opportunity there. And those qualifiers taking place the next 4 weekends before they move into the main phase. And that's when we'll be picking up casting some of those games. And, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, right here. The place for all of your R6 play T4 to T1. We're here to get the job done. And now it's map 2, Chalet, baby. And it's a do or die time for DayStar. This is a best of 3 in the semifinal. Winner moving on. Space Shoobs already locked one away, looking to try to find their second on Chalet.
Yeah, that's right, my friend. You said it. Round 1, done and dusted. Space Shoobs. Now, DayStar Rising, all the pressure is on them on their map pick at this point. So they're going to go ahead and block the shields again. Monty and Clash both going down to start this thing off. So very similar setup that we saw for the second half of Bank. Are they going to continue it? Yep. Monty and Blitz, Space Shoob going to ban the exact same operators they did on Bank. DayStar's going to make a slight change, go with the Mira instead of the Kaid, the Cade. I think that's a good call. Definitely a little bit more difficult here on this particular map to manage and deal with. So Mira's a great ban. We know there's a little bit of a pause here as we go into it, but man, this has been a great match to start off with.
Yeah, and just to clarify in the chat, what he was just talking about is going to be an opportunity that's opened up for everybody, right, Run?
Yeah, that's right.
Series is taking part. Yeah.
Yep, the seasonal
so
series.
T4, T3, T2, no comp experience. Get your team And then add us on Twitter if you want us to cast your match, and we'll try to get as many in as we can. Spotlight on your talents, my friend. We'll try to get it onto the stream, and we love doing that. Small pause here. But already looking at seeing that first floor.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we love getting the opportunity to do. Sort of the official Ubisoft community casters. We have done all of the open play-ins, all of the last chance qualifiers for Pro League, for the 6 Invitational, and the Challenger Series. We spent a ton of time on Challenger Series earlier this year. There's no Challenger Series in between Stage 1 and Stage 2 of the Pro League this time around, so the Ubisoft Seasonal Series is the opportunity that they're using to fill in that gap. So it is a 5-week qualifier setup where you play as many games as you can to get yourself on the leaderboard. It's in a challenger mode. We can put up the link here, but it'll definitely be on Twitter as well. We're looking forward to seeing all of the teams that make it through to the qualifier and then move into the play-in series, and that's where we'll pick up community casting on those games. But man, that 10th player back in the lobby.
I can't wait for that run. Honestly, Challenger Series was such an awesome time to be involved in Siege, right? The hype was real. And towards the end of it, we were watching our friends that we've cast for years having a chance to make it into Pro League, right? Ions to the league, Stompin' to the league, just all of our homies. And it finally was the bridesmaid, never the bride, JJ, that ends up taking that spot. Like, that was a magical time to be alive, And now this new set of series gonna give that same sort of feel, and you're gonna be able to find it all right here on the Siege Double Shot. I am so excited for that.
Hell yeah, cannot wait for it. And the fact that we got to see some of those big names playing at the Nerd Street LAN as well just cemented the fact that this is a fantastic community. And we are glad that you're here with us watching, Mukbang Season 7. This is the semifinal game. The season's got one more game left, that grand final. It is Temper waiting to play the winner of this match, and it's going to be of this map unless DayStar Rising can find a win here on Chalet on their map pick.
Okay, I love that we're on the first floor, right? We've seen that shift playing out, and what do they bring to the table to do it? They are really just going to lock down that second floor, right? Going for a
No, the top 2 players from the last map duke it out in the first seconds of the round. Man, and it's Schmink that comes up big, taking down the super sub Shoob.
Man, I honestly, I love Chalet for that exact reason. For that exact reason. There is spawn peak capabilities everywhere. And the problem is, it's coming. You know where they're going to be spawn peeking from, and sometimes you just get your head ripped off. And this time it happened to be the hard breach off the board, and that's a tough pill to swallow.
Ooh. Yeah, ace down. What do they have left? I mean, you still have got 4 nades at this point in Kaysen and Zer's hands, so they still got a little bit of explosive capability. But yeah, losing the ace charges, the ability to open up those sight lines, going to make this a little bit more difficult. They're going to have to work on the vertical. We talk about teams being so good when they manage and just dominate the vertical aspect of this game. That's where DayStar Rising is now going to have to take the main focus. In a 4v5, half the round over at this point. They're taking a couple shots, but it is feeling like a little bit of a slow start to Chalet.
Yeah, well, it has to be. That's one of the things that spawn peak accomplishes, right? Now you're checking every door. You're checking every window like it's like there's a cap can around. You've got to be mindful. You got to be demure looking for it. They're going to find one. Butcher to take Zers off the board. Now that's the double. A grenade to come in. Just barely escapes as a C4 heads out the window. Schmeek now good for 2 as Lecky goes down, and it starts to feel a little bit of trouble here for the attacking team. Kaysen's going to get taken off the board as Soapy finds the kill. Now into a 1v4. A low health scenario. He's got to ace it to bring this one back. Schmeek on fire. Give him a 3-piece to end it with a pistol pop and that body drop.
Damn, the MVP of the previous map comes out swinging here to start off. Oh, unfortunate there for the DayStar Rising team, but Another pause coming out this time. The spaceship struggling on the tech side here to start this thing off. So this time, a little bit longer. I think we're going to take just a quick break there before we hop into the rest of this match. So, yeah, man, quick pause.
All right. Well, you heard it. Sit back, relax. When we come back, going to be the end of this very second map.
Let's go.
What's up and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back. It's map number 2, round number 2 in a best of 3, the semis.
Defenders,
Next
protect
team,
your
or the
bombs from being
one that
defused
wins
by
it all
attackers.
here is moving on to the finals. A lot of pride and ego on the line.
You know what? And honestly, if you
Distracted by the comment.
if you got clickbaited into coming for a mukbang, well, if you like siege kills, then you're going to eat all night because Space Shoobs, DayStar just fighting it out at the end. Only one of these teams can move on to the grand final, though, and right now, it's looking like Space Shoobs. This is, they won 4 in a row if you talk about the end of that bank game and picked up their 5th. So it is time for DayStar to rise up, my friend. They need to pick up a win here early. Gain a little bit of dominance, shut the Space Shoobs team down. This is their map pick. We know they were expecting to go onto the attack to start this thing off, but we used to say, don't take the Space Shoobs to Chalet.
That's true. That's a phrase that has been uttered on this cast quite a few times. Looking for that spawn peak again, getting active, and there's going to be some damage onto Zers as they're looking to fight it out. I can't quite see the name, but if I had to guess, is that Schmink doing it, getting active again, looking to add to that 3-piece?
Man, just piling on the kills, piling on the pressure for this team, and there it is, Schmink taking down a Scuba again. Man, these two guys doing battles at the opening on both of the rounds at this point, but Kaysin on DayStar getting active, as we said he needed to, and now showing up here, and it is a 4v3 a little bit early. Again, the best opportunity here for this team, playing that first floor shot, but look at this, unaware as Teddy shuts down Soapy outside the map.
Yeah, immediately pays the price. Third able to take it down. The body bounces into the hand of DayStars. They're still putting that pressure onto that library area. Finally able to maybe get that Kiba barrier just about destroyed. They're still got a solid hold, and there it goes, and another one in pocket. Still, if they're able to get a Butcher, takes Zers down now into a 2-2 as we get equalized here. The push in, Kaysin slams Butcher off the board.
There it
Kaysin
is.
good for 2.
That was what we were expecting from him playing on bank. Just, I guess, took him a little while to get active. We said DayStar needed to show up here early on in Chalet to put some dominance down. They pull it off. So now the Space Shoobs, boy, if you're a Space Shoobs fan, and we know there is a ton of them in the chat, looking for this team to now try and shut down the DayStar Rising team before they gain any bit of momentum.
Yeah, what an answer back. What an answer back. They the 100% pushed in, found some space, got the picks. The comms were definitely on point, and they find themselves tied up 1-1. We take it down to the basement, and this is a little bit of a tough one, right? There's a ton of avenues to get into the basement, and I'm talking like 6 or 7 different ways that you can put pressure onto it. So you got to have yourself a bit of an extension. You got to be in a few more places, which means bring out some of that area denial capabilities. They're going to try to slow stuff down run with the Tuber Arcade combo and take away that intel with the nuke. It's a good setup. You know there's going to be some absolute crazy roam game going on as Teddy has put himself onto the Vigil. He's not bringing the Boss G.
Yeah, that's right, trading out. It was Butcher in the last game playing the Vigil, and you said it, running the K1A I think is a great call here. Now, from the attacking side, they are going to run the Blackbeard. That is a controversial pick. We see Blackbeard be occasionally successful, but again, big change-up coming for him and his kit at the start of Year 10 Season 3. That new op's been getting a lot of play on the test server, a lot of those clips coming out. Can't wait to see how that one's going to go, but look at this. You can see all of the utility defensively being tossed out that upper window as they're trying to prevent the main breach from getting open, but right now it is only slowed down. Thermite and Zers got that Thermite Exo on the door, or on the wall. It's going to be opened.
And Exige, the only one actually down in sight, holding on. Everybody out with a slight extension, holding on to the verticality. Now, what does that mean? That means that an IGL that's paying attention could potentially just push in, take sight, do a little sight direct action, but already we're going to get some trades. As you can see, Kason good for another two-piece. Lecky's going to find one off the board, and now all of a sudden, DayStar Rising is starting to heat up. Schmink going to be on the rotate. He was good for 4 earlier. He's got 1:37 to work and a little bit spread out. Don't feed him ones or the man's going to eat for sure. 1v2, plant starting to go down. Still have Kason on the shield play. Now sitting 5-1, just like quadruple what his first kill line was in map number 1. They made it outside, so the pressure's on. No C4 could really try to force him back. Couple of toe shots, but not really going to be enough.
Yeah, this looks like a round that is all but won here from the DayStar Rising side, but look at this. No, he goes for the shot with the shield. Man, just blasts him backward. And Kason heating up like crazy right now. What a start to this game versus the last. Although I gotta say, the highlight play so far, the fact that we have seen Schmink take down Scoob in a 1v1 there at 3 rounds, 3 in a row, Schmink has won that battle. It's time for Scoob to heat back up.
That's the truth. DayStar now looking to try to see the possibility of a map 3. They take that first initial scoreline, the first half of the second map. No, the first half of the second map is done and dusted. The round rotate is over, which means we can go back to it. It's kitchen dining. Now, Space Shoobs got a little intel on how that played out last time. They don't have the mirror, of course, because they were banned out, but this is the problem run. Now they took the Blackbeard off the board.
By attackers.
Yeah, honestly, great call. Kason dominating with that op. Force him into playing something else. You're trying to prevent him from continuing that heater that he's on. The Warden, interesting pick there from the Space Shoobs side, and want to try and maybe create a little bit of extra chaos. Maybe we're going to see a Ying come out later in this round, but right now, look at that. The Space Shoobs, all 3 shields shut down. They want to have a more face-to-face battle here with the DayStar Rising attack, and I'm still just amazed that we see so much of a zombie play with how little we got to see her as part of the previous year of Siege, because she was banned like every single game.
Yeah, and it's made it so fun, right, to see how the bans are affecting gameplay and how you have to bring in what was once an op that you don't even practice with. You don't even practice with the zombie because for sure she is going to be banned, right? That was just zero question about it, almost 100% of the time. So being able to see some of these players used now, oh man, big W. No! Oh. Well, there's a caster curse off the board. Goes to open the window, and they're going to pick with their life. A zombie gone. No Kiva barrier.
Damn.
Damn, that's tough. And also, Kylo, just want to say thank you so much, homie, for the gifted sub. We really appreciate that. Unique Soul, enjoy.
Utility. There goes that last C4. It's out. Off. Nothing for it.
Oh.
But
Almost
baited.
Swing around. Gonna do it again and gets back into the relative safety of inside. Couple of shots off that balcony door, but they're not gonna quite find him yet. They have, however, taken some of that pivotal space here needed to get down and get a plant. If they can get that main lobby wall opened up, then they've got enough vertical to be able to get a plant off the chassis, barring any C4 action. And there's none on the board, so can do it in some relative safety here. That's a big first move for DayStar. See how the Shoobs are going to react.
No way. No way. Schmink does it 4 in a row. Man, that is going to be one of these weird stats that's going to live rent-free in my head forever. All right, Scoop, it is time to shut this thing down. You can't let it happen, but oh, no. Oh, what a way to go. Kason just locked in on the drone, locked in, riding the wave. Exige makes him pay for it. It's the final 30 seconds, my friend.
Yep, 3v2. Defense has just got a hold on. It's the hard breach left. They've got a smoke in pocket. They're going to send one deep to block off the hole, but Xer's able to take Zers off the board. Now into a 3v1. Quick shots on the piano, and it's going to be Teddy with a pistol. Teddy with a 3K to end this one out.
All right, even in this scoreline back up, it is a back and forth battle for map 2. Space Shoobs pick up their second, tie this thing up into 2-2 as we head into round 5. Now it's looking similar to what we saw in the first half of Bank. It was a 3-3 split to start it off. Man, a little bit of back and forth. It depends on who is going to continue the streak, who's going to stay hot at this point. Jason unfortunately goes down. Well played there by Exeach. They picked up his first in the way to shut that down, but man, Scoob sitting at 0-4. That right now, the difference maker, it feels like. For sure, Kaysen has picked up the slack sitting at 6-2, but the fact that Scoob had 12 kills, I think, in that previous map, big change up here for him. So again, looking for him to get active.
You know what's fun about this match too? It's kind of some the old heads versus the young guns here. Exeach, fun whiskey fact, Exeach was one of the very first comp players that we ever met going to an event. Oh, what a callback there, huh?
Yeah, and the fact that we've cast him, I think, on 7 different teams at this point, going all the way back to GNL, one of our favorite leagues, really the first place that we got a chance. Cannot kill Scoob. Kaysen took him down and broke the streak. Stood at 4-0. What a place to start this map off. But Kaysen 7-2 to continue this dominance, heating up here on Chalet.
That's right. And Valkyrie now going to be relegated to their cams. Body bounce is going to sit into the hands of DayStar. And we've wasted some pretty good time, though. And you still have those maestros. You still have those castle barricades. You still have all of those layers on the defense that you got to get through, not including the bodies that will, of course, be shooting back at you.
You know, we were talking about this early on. I don't know if we mentioned it. There's a $1,000 prize pool here to the winner. 250 to second place. So there's some money on the line here for this league. Not just all ego at this point. So both of these teams looking to find their spot into that grand finals with the final 40 seconds left. What a trade from Zers and Teddy.
Man, LMG enough bullets to kill them all, and Teddy's gonna find 2 for his action, but that means both of the camera operators are now gonna be doing just that. They're gonna be holding down onto him. 3-3 as the last 25 is starting to ring out. A little bit of that long range. What is going on with that? What was that?
That was an observer bug, my friend, through the wall.
Yes, excellent. Oh, yeah! Butcher finds Scoob off the board, now into a 2-2 as he gets traded back. Pistol popping on the ground, but it's not going to be enough. Soapy's able to take Butcher. A low health scenario for IQ. He's got to make the swing. 1 second left. Boom! Shotgun says goodnight. It's a close quarter combat kill.
Shotgun wins it there for the Space Shoobs. 3-2. Man, like we said, it back and forth battle between these two teams. DayStar wins 2. The Space Shoobs win 2. Where we're gonna go now? Bar Gaming. I wondered whether or not we were gonna see that second floor site be a problem, but the Space Shoobs shut it down, locked it up there upstairs. So is this going to be the opportunity? DayStar did a good job of managing the vertical, playing that game, and that could be a weakness there for the Space Shoobs. They're on defense, so a 4-2 split, certainly not unexpected, even though this is DayStar's map pick.
Oh, man. Trying to see a similar score line of the first map. It really was the second where the dominance started to happen, right? It was back and forth, 3-3 all the way up. And then when we hit that back end, yeah, that's when the Shoobs started to kick it into another gear. So seeing a little similar stat line here, we're going to need to see, well, one of the big things will be Scoob finally getting a kill on the board. Can't seem to purchase one at 0-5 under 6 at the moment.
Yeah, completely shut down, shut out. A little bit of an interesting spot, but speaking of interesting spots, look at this. Exeach playing right on the door, and oh no! Just catches Kaysen off guard, playing right out in the open, unidentified, and man, just takes advantage of this team approaching the building without that level of caution they probably needed to.
Yeah, well, you don't expect somebody to be sitting on that basement breach completely opened up, but that's the thing that we mentioned when we got started on Chalet is all of the spawn peaks are known. You can't do something new on Chalet. I'm sure you probably can, but there isn't something new currently. So you know where it could potentially be coming from, and unfortunately, sun's up, gun's got to be up, my friend. He loses his life, and now they're down 2.
Yeah, boy, sitting in a 5v3 scenario with that first minute of gameplay gone really puts the Space Shoobs in a power position here on their last defensive round. We said this is a must-win scenario for DayStar Rising. They have to win here on Chalet to force that third map. Nighthaven Labs, man, I want to see that matchup between these two teams, but you're a Space Shoobs fan, you want to see them lock it down right now here before they even make it to map 3.
Yeah, Butcher trying to put some pressure on that main lobby, and they're going to get some smokes in, force them out of that engagement. Potential for the wall bang if they walk in, but Lecky, a quick tap to the dome piece as Schmeek gets taken down, a little closer to equalizing on the body balance. That's going to be the Cade. Now puts us into a 4v2. Teddy good for another.
No!
Extra takes one. Lecky good now for a second, but can't find a third as Butcher's able to pull out the pistol and drop him.
And we said that 4-2 split was not going to be unexpected on the defensive half there for the Space Shoobs, but that round really felt a little bit more dominant than some of the previous. DayStar starting to fall behind. They need to pick up the pace. Now, though, on their defensive half, as we watch the bans come in, is it going to be the full shield gone? We're going to handicap Exige going into this round. Are the Space Shoobs going to try and prevent any of those hard breach denial ops? Yeah, a little bit of both. 2 shields gone.
Yep, you were calling that one, and I would not be surprised to see one more taken off the board for the attacker side. 4-2 on the split. Feels like fairly standard for some Chalet play, even though it looked like we might see it 3-3'd. I just say both teams probably feeling pretty good. DayStar a little bit on the back foot, but they're defensive side now.
Man, the shield's just going down this time. Blitz and Blackbeard banned out, so the Space Shoob's going to have to, if they want to go with a shield, rely on the Monty. And in general, it felt like they started a good job of managing the Monty. After they banned Blitz on Bank, the Space Shoobs couldn't find an attacking win. So, are we going to see that same pattern arise? They started off with banning the Blitz as the number 1 to go down. Completely different map, obviously. Lots of close quarter combat with the way that Chalet is sort of separated into 2 main halves, but we're going to see the first floor sites continue to be dominant here on Chalet as we see another kitchen dining for the DayStar defense to start out.
All right, you know who's back on the board? That Capcan. We saw him be effective when Exige brought him to the table, and they're going to do it first round of the defense. And what does that do? That sets the pace. That sets the tone. That says, hey, you are not going to be able to push in free. When you couple that with a Butcher, when you couple that with a Fenrir, you can put them in good positions to where they freak out when you go into the purple and find yourself on the back end of a Capcan. This time it's going to be Scoob taking Butcher off the board. He was looking for Schmeek. You got to know that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, continuing, even though he didn't pick up the rounds in the middle, that 4-0 was definitely a tough place to start off. So the one time I don't check the spawn peak, he says, and there's Scoob's going to take down Exige, and he still got the opportunity to kill Schmink at this point. But in a 5v3 scenario, for sure, the Space Shoob's going to approach it a little more carefully, a little more cautiously, and they're picking up the first on Soapy to go down.
That's going to be, and not just the equalizer, but the body balance is going to be equalized now as they find themselves 3-3.
Damn!
Having kind of a heater, right? Sitting 8-3. Man, just loves that snow background. He's just starting to dominate here. Equalized, and that was all in the first minute, so plenty of time for the attack side to recoup, readdress, and reassess. Figure out if they can figure out where these other defenders are, take them off the board, get themselves set up for an execute. They still got the hard breach, can still open up wall. Just need a little bit of vertical to get that done.
Speaking of opening up, it right in front of our faces. That main wall opens upstairs, and you can see this defense is searching, or the attackers here searching, trying to find all of the defenders at this point. And oh no, Zers was playing in a very exposed position downstairs in that main lobby and pays the price for it now, leaving just Kaysen and Lecky left alive. But right now, the two frag leaders on this team can, and certainly, well, hopefully, if you're a DayStar fan, shut down this Space Shoobs attack.
A little bit of a crash out in the all chat of the "What are you doing?" Daddy able to find Lecky off the board. Now Kaysen, well, Kaysen's gonna go down in a hell of bullets.
All right, if we take a look at it, let's see, the last 11 rounds, DayStar has only picked up 2 if you look at the last 2 maps. So this is certainly their time to pick it up. Space Shoobs are now 1 round away from match point and semi-final point. DayStar has got to pick up the pace, find the kills, win some rounds on defense. This is their map pick. I know we said it, don't take the Space Shoobs to Chalet, but DayStar, right, they didn't hear that, and they're ready to win on their map pick. Basement is going to be the next place to do battle, and they need to find a win right here, right now.
Okay, down to the basement.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Leaning into that Azami play. Some slowdown. I think the highlight here is going to be Kaysen pulling out the Vigil. Try to be that chaos agent around the map.
10 seconds remaining.
A good little setup for the defense, but I think
5
most of them
seconds
probably going to stick closer to home.
Attackers objective.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at where the defense is playing right now. 2 downstairs in the basement and then 2 upstairs, right? The Chalet sandwich, as you talked about it earlier on Bank, 2 on the second floor, 2 on the basement, 1 Lecky holding down the dining room here in the middle. And good, looking at the cameras, they didn't take down the default. This is a huge opportunity here for the defense, but no! Oh, Scoob loses that battle, what should have been absolutely potentially a 2K.
Tough Scoop to go down again, and he was definitely the hero of the previous round. So I think the 2 and 8 scenario feels difficult, right? Can see why some of that score line is sitting the way that it is. Now, he, of course, is a sub, so that can always have a little bit of a dramatic effect. Case to take down Butcher, Soapy to take down Schmeek, and all of a sudden that defense has got the body balanced by 1. Time Azami's off the board, so
okay.
Siege down. It's gonna be the top frag for the Space Shoobs. He's got to get active. Got to turn on the thrusters. He's 9 and 3. He's got to find 3 more to get this one done.
He's got tons of time, right? Right, and DayStar can afford to throw just a few bodies at it. They've got 3 to Teddy's 1 in the 1v3. Clutch up opportunity here. You said it. He's the top frag. Taking some shots. Coming now? Oh, not yet. DayStar is holding back. They want to make sure they win rounds and not throw bodies at this opportunity. Teddy could be eating, but yeah, they're just going to wait it out. I like this strategy. Win the round, my friend.
Yeah, I think that's the big play here. You've got the body balance. You can afford to send 1 to potentially take the swing. But really, yeah, just hold it out. There's no reason to do it. You'll find yourself within 2 of striking distance to tying up. And that feels a lot more winnable. A 5-3 feels 100% more winnable than a 5.
Teddy taking his time. He's not going for sort of a faux timeout. Maybe talking, chatting with the team, having some fun with it. We've said this all night. This has been a little bit of a strange game, a little bit of a fun game, and right there, to lose the end of the battle, DayStar picks up another. It's a 5v3. That's the comeback that we needed to see them start.
Good disclipple. Good disclipple. I think he meant discipline, and that's true. And that's true. Holding the 3 angles, they knew he had only a few places that he could potentially pushed, and they just collapse on him when he comes in, and that's going to be a 5-3. 2 away from tying this one up. Defense is going to take it back up to the top floor, and they're going to lean into some of that similar strat, right? Small extensions, microaggressions, and hopefully a little bit of disruption in the hands of Vigil.
Yeah, really, for me, this feels like a little bit of the battle of the bands at this point. The shields going down has certainly moved this from more of an in-your-face attack setup into holding some of those long-range shots. And right now, it's hard to see which one of these two teams that's favoring, because you see a little bit of moments of brilliance and then things sort of fall apart. So we'll see whether or not DayStar can keep the momentum going. Can they capitalize on the Space Shoobs' mistakes? But it really hasn't been a ton of clutch ups at this point, but it has definitely been a roller coaster.
That's the dang truth. Already, you're going to see Twitch starting to get in and get active towards some gadgetry, take some cams off the board. Really, business as usual here. They do double up on the hard breach, which not a bad idea. Allows you to do that two-pronged approach. You got to shoot defaults. Oh, Jesus.
Well, we did talk about
troll-
that in the last round, that the Space Shoobs just sort of avoided
that's
it.
Good advice.
Man, you know what? Take it from the T2 pros at this point. You know what? Sharing the good advice. Shoot the defaults. You know what? It's going to up my game substantially. I love it.
Yeah, now we're going to be ranked demons. Flashes start to come in, looking towards that push into library, and it's going to get
Soapy.
absolutely denied. Soapy takes one off the board. Still has the C4, but it gets answered back immediately as Lecky's going to take the trade onto a siege. Schmink good to find Soapy off the board. Numbers now get equalized. There's plenty of time left. We find ourselves in a similar situation to the last round. A ton of time, and back into a 3-3.
Oh, man, this chat cracks me up. Hell yeah, man. Join us for a double shot, and you got it. Oh!
Yeah, this, hands down, this has been one of the funniest chats during a match, like, ever. Just absolutely cracking me up. You guys are awesome. Zer's able to find Xer, now into a 2-2 situation with 1:14 left on the board. Couple of shots ringing out on the half wall. The pressure's starting to mount. You've got a full minute in which to get it done. Get some drones out. A quick peek, though. Zers is ready. Teddy pays the price. Diffuser's now down. Schmeek has to make the rotate up to library to go get that diffuser. I think he's probably just going to go for kills here.
I mean, it's not a bad option, too. Schmink was the MVP of the last round on Bank, was an absolute demon with the DMR. The problem is running out of a little bit of time and still a defensive utility up. The cam's coming out. No way he's going to find one, but Zers able to shut him down.
Yeah, Zers was a 3-piece, I believe, on that one. Kind of just popping off on the second floor and gets a little bit closer to bringing us back into contention. Run, it's 5-4. We're one away from tying this up, and DayStar needs this to see map number 3.
That's right. We've got Nighthaven Labs on tap if we can see DayStar Rising pick up a win here on Chalet on their map pick. Otherwise, the Space Shoob's going to be sending them home at 2-0 right now. 1 map to 0 in this best of 3. And now look at this, Valkyrie and Ace. Interesting change up here. I guess the Valk cams were playing a part, giving this team a little bit of that extra intel to identify where the Shoobs were playing from, but I didn't feel like Valkyrie was really that huge difference maker. Interesting how this is going to change the lineup.
Yeah, those are some good picks, right? The hard breach is obviously can be a standard for most maps. It's just difficult when you cannot open up the walls and you have to take the more traditional means of entry, walking through the walls, dropping down the hatches. And even that now has its price to pay, right? Because you drop from a certain distance, you can't ADS. You're hip firing on the drop, which means tons of util has to be expended, so you have a little bit of safety in that. So getting the hard breach off the wall, huge play. If they're able to take the thermite down as well, then man, that will of course be absolutely devastating.
There it is, the king emote coming out. Yeah, we added that one special for Stompin' when we got a chance to cast him as a part of the Challenger series, and then also got to meet him recently on a little bit of road trip, and some of his old roller buddies playing here on the DayStar Rising team. Looking to see them continue to get active. You said it, they are 1 round away from tying this thing up, but Space Shoobs 1 round away from finding that match point scenario and shutting the semifinal down early.
Yeah, and if you want to see that meet up, if you want to see Stompin' shouting out the double shot while Run's hanging out with them, go check out the Siege Double Shot Twitter, where we bring you all the R6 esport news from console to PC comp. We try to get it all out there, showcase every bit of talent that can be. So go take a look at it. You can see them hanging out as well. Stakes and shots, so it was a good time.
Hell yeah, it was, my friend. And yep, cheers, my friend. It's time. It's getting down to it. 1 minute down. We're seeing the util clear upstairs. They're taking a couple shots. It's Kaysen. They're hunting him upstairs on the second floor. But he's holding on, waiting, watching. There it is. The Grim Bees coming out, giving this attacking team a little bit of extra intel. Where's he hiding? Where's he going to play? The mezzanine push coming in, but they're expecting it. Kaysen's in that spot. No, doesn't swing, doesn't play the advantage. Waits, tosses a C4. Man, half this round gone, and it feels like it's moving slow. One-man army upstairs slowing down the Shoob attack.
Right, and the buddy system's in play as well. Lex is up there to help put the pressure on when they eventually, well, he was up there to put the pressure on, but he gets deleted off the board. That's going to be the main advantage into the hands of the Space Shoot. Now, do they think they got that presence up there? No, they're still wary of it. Teddy's going to take a little bit of damage. They know that they've got the pressure towards the bathroom. It's going to be a C4 that's going to be ringing out. He's going to be rewarded. No, he just misses out. No damage
way.
done. Waste of a C4. Now they can start making the walk up, which means Schmink's going to be able to take Scoob off the board, but they don't know about the flank. They don't know about the pressure. As long as the footsteps don't give him away. That doesn't. He's good for one. Now putting the pressure on the Monty, stuck onto the stairs. This
He
looks
gets
familiar. We've seen that sort of move before, and just as Kino fell on the stairs, so does Exige. 3v2 now as they find themselves with the body balance and the health advantage sitting into their hands. Looking for some of that top control. Not gonna find it. Zers takes him off the board. Now it's like Exer alone in a 1v3. Alone on an island. He's gonna open the wall. No C4s to do any of that long range devastation. They're just gonna keep taking pop shots, and it's a similar situation. But if you feed him once,
double!
he's gonna eat. Almost finds it. Kaysen puts him down.
Man, what a play from Kaysen to shut that round down. DayStar rising 3 rounds in a row now. The full round rotate. Basement 2F. Kitchen down on the defensive side and ties this thing back up. We said one round away. That was the important one, my friend. Tied up. The next team to win puts themselves on match point. And is it going to be pushing us towards Nighthaven, or is it going to be the end of DayStar as Space Shoob moves on to that grand final? That's it. Temper waiting the grand final spot for the winner of this game.
And fingers crossed. I want a map 3. This one feels like it deserves this. DayStar's got to be good for 2. They've got to find a way to completely shut down the Shoobs. Yeah, this is a good defense to get it done. It's hold, it's long distance, it's C4s, it's disruption. Kaysen on the vigil. They're making a good play to try to get this one sealed up, Run.
10 seconds left.
All right. The Mira.
5
Saw
seconds
Mira
left.
banned out for the first half of the game. We'll see whether or not that's going to be a change in the way that DayStar is playing this thing. Is that going to be what takes down the Space Shoobs? Really, it feels like right now, Exer and Teddy just having a hell of a good game. They've got a kill spread across the board. You know, nobody really just failing to pick up their piece of the slack. He's running the shields. I mean, he's the guy that's been in your face here, allowing this thing to keep rolling. And it feels slow again. We talked about in the previous round, just taking their time and getting going. And that feels like it's given DayStar a bit of an advantage. When they were playing faster, sort of upset this DayStar defense, and now that they have sort of slowed down the pace, it's giving them a boost.
Like you're going to find a huge first pick as Teddy gets taken off the board. That's one of the hard breach. That's part of your entry into sight off the board, but they went with the 2-pronged approach. They still have Thermite available to get those walls opened up. Problem is, they've got to find a way to deal with this bandit. They do have some impact EMPs, but you gotta know, Scoob is absolutely the
Yeah, you can see his outline moving like crazy downstairs, looking, waiting, blocking any entry in. And yeah, even though Scoob has really struggled to get going like he did on Bank, still been an important part of the team holding this down. But Kaysen upstairs, this is he's going to potentially play the spoiler, because you take a look at the way that the Space Shoobs attack is set up. Nobody on that side of the map, very much focused on the main breach, a little bit on the blue stairs side, but there's a huge opportunity here for Kaysen to play the flank and the spoiler.
Monty just walks down the main stair, already putting some pressure onto the bandit. He's got a nope right the heck on out of there, which means that wall's going to get opened up. They just put a little bit of pressure onto that first floor, but there's a shotgun in the hands of Soapy. Going to take one off the board. Monty getting some pressure as the second now falls. Exer takes Zers down as the first fight back against this DayStar defense. They claim that man advantage. Exige in a place that he can potentially get a plant, but there's a C4 that's still close. Two of them potentially to stop that. You need a good cross. He's going to go ahead and put himself into a little bit different position, a little bit farther away, gives a chance to potentially shoot the C4s as they come out. It's a cross that's in play. Exer's going to find another one. Soapy, though.
Oh, no!
Now into a 3v1. Similar situation. We've seen this before. The 3-1. They hold the cross. They don't throw bodies, and they're about to put themselves on match point. If they can hold that same discipline. Couple of shots, made his way into sight. Not gonna wait for the last few seconds to ring out, but Lecky, a vector in hand. He's gonna delete Schmink, and we are on a match point scenario. DayStar trying to see map number 3.
They've turned into disciplined disciples downstairs in the basement. Man, DayStar picks up a double. That was back on round 8. Teddy was in the exact same situation in a 3v1. Was DayStar just holding out. Good discipline downstairs then. Good discipline downstairs now. They picked up 4 in a row on a hell of a roll at this point. The Space Shoob fans, they know they've got the map advantage. Their night isn't over if they lose here on Chalet. They get to fight it out on Nighthaven next. But, man, they were looking great early on. But this 4 in a row from DayStar makes them look a little bit unstoppable. 6-5 match point scenario here for map 2 in this best of 3.
Right, now we double up on the vector play. Mira and Goyo out and about. Scoob gonna put himself onto a little bit of that long-range devastation. It's really hold it out here, Run. They've got a little bit of slowdown everywhere. I think the big highlight here, Lecky on the Mira. Where are we gonna put these at? Oh, he's gonna extend up into kitchen. They've got the hatch open, so he's got a plan B, a rotate down when they start making the push. Kaysen. 13-6. Sit in that lurker wall. Try to find one early.
Yeah, they seem to catch the Space Shoobs off guard. They had a little bit of a, we'll call it, one-dimensional sort of attack downstairs, very much focused on that main breach. Didn't really find anybody, but look at this drone on the Scoob, holding down to that that DMR, getting ready to open the hatch, and there it goes, opens the hatch, but rotates upstairs here, or at least holding onto the stairs at this point. The big question for me is, how is Space Shoobs going to approach this thing? Again, when they seem to be moving quickly, that's when they upset the DayStar defense, and it feels like, again, moving just a little bit too slowly.
Ooh, and that bracket command didn't quite get updated, so not the right bracket there. We'll fix that here when we come to the next break. Sorry about that. Okay, they do have that Chaos Agent Run. Ying's on the board, so the potential to cause some absolute havoc, especially when dealing with this Mira downstairs, could be huge. Kaysen's going to take the scenic route as he rotates down to the basement. Try to put some pressure on, maybe towards some repel action. They're looking for some garage presence. Nook, Teddy, 10-7. Try to put himself in contention with Kaysen, but Kaysen's there. Kaysen's ready. Kaysen Statham finds Teddy. Butcher, answer back. Soapy goes down, now into a 4-3 situation. DayStar holding out. They just need to do it for another minute 15, and we're gonna see the potential for Nighthaven Labs. Still got a shield, still got 4 Candelas. They've made their way all the way up to piano. the disruption there. Quick shot towards piano window, not gonna land just yet. Now the candelas start to ring out as the chaos starts to happen. Monty moving in, some pressure from below. A quick cheeky angle, takes a couple of shots, not gonna be able to find one just yet. There's the C4 to go
Oh!
out. Scoop finds extra off the board, and now into a 1v3. Butcher's gonna find one, but a similar situation is gonna prove to be the same. The pattern repeated. We're headed to labs.
Damn, a hell of a victory there. DayStar Rising, a 7-5 victory. Kaysen MVP, not unexpected at this point. A little worried, or I guess if you're a Kaysen fan, he hadn't really picked up the pace early on in this game. He does in the second map. And, man, my friend, we are going to get to see in Nighthaven. Love the fact that it's going to the third map because this match has not disappointed. Strong showing from Shoobs on Bank. Big comeback from DayStar on Chalet, and we get to see a map 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. My favorite, Nighthaven Labs, coming at you when we come back. So sit back, relax. When we come back, we're sending somebody to the finals. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It's a best of 3 that needed every single one to get it done. At the end of this one, we're sending somebody to the finals here in Mukbang. Run, this has been an exciting back and forth.
Hell yeah, it has, my friend. This is it. The grand finals, one map away. Got to figure out which one it's going to be, though, because right now DayStar came back in a big way on Chalet, on their map pick. Both teams have picked up wins on the map that they wanted here. Shoobs 7-3 victory on Bank, 7-5 for DayStar there on Chalet. And, man, going to Labs to finish this thing off. What a great way to end the night.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite map currently of all time, right? The strats have a huge variety. The kills are going to be explosive, and there's so many different ways that you can try to put pressure on the defenses here. Nighthaven Labs is a map where if you have a great attack, if your comms are on point, your communication and your coordination are of quality, you're going to do really well on your attacker side of it. But it is still defense on Nighthaven Labs that you have to get through right now. Shoobs versus DayStar. Grand finals and ego on the line. I cannot wait for this one.
That's right, my friend. And if you win this one, you've got the opportunity for 1,000 or 250. The loser of this game goes home with nothing. So all of it is on the line, my friend. It's Nighthaven Labs. Let's go.
Ayo. Okay, so we've seen some interesting bans going on for map 1 and map 2, right? Some standards, right? We've seen some shields off the board, a little bit of attention to the hard breach. Nighthaven is definitely one where you can get very targeted into your approach on how you're going to be holding or taking a site here. I imagine some shields probably going to be seen here. Clash still probably not want to be played. We see the strat where you hide the Clash on Nighthaven Labs really a lot, and it works really well, especially in Clash's new iteration where she can put that shield down, a bit of a movable deployable.
And interesting, we didn't see Clash go down first this time. It's the Mira as well, and I think that is honestly a great call. So good here on this map, but there it is. 3 of 4 ops shields gone here to start this thing off, so not unexpected. I mean, that just seems the way that this game has gone. When a player got hot with the shields, we're really able to dominate. We saw that from Exige leading his team to that bank win early, and then Kaysen on Blackbeard to start off on Chalet, later picking up 2 rounds in a row. So, yeah, shields just being a big influence here and a focus on the ban phase.
Yeah, I like it. All right, it takes away some of that spearhead action. It's forcing you into that Blackbeard play, which is still a great operator, right? We saw Kaysen absolutely fry on it, but the changes coming up are going to make that difficult. So really kind of staying away from some of that Blackbeard play currently. On the defense, though, a couple of staples for the second floor on Nighthaven Labs. Fenrir holding down that outside hallway. Azami to lock down that catwalk, and of course you need that intel. Looks like they're going to be doing a bit of potential tricking here as we've got the combo move. Butcher and Exige bringing out that bandit and tuber out.
That's one of the big focuses here on Nighthaven, right? Which way is the hard breach going to go? Is it going to be the Mav? Is it going to be the vertical? Are we going to see the hard breach downstairs? Are we going to see them focus upstairs? From the DayStar side, all right, bringing out the ace and then Kaysen on the buck. I think this is a great call. We talk about it so often. The team that wins the vertical battle, the team that wins the match. It hasn't been so obvious on one side or the other between these teams because it's felt more like capitalizing on mistakes than truly strategic siege at this point. But now both teams warmed up. They are ready, one map down apiece. So it's come down to this, a best of one for the grand finals.
Damage done already as they start to push in. Kaysen's going to find Butcher off the board. No tricking to be had for that main wall as he was sitting down low really early. Now we're seeing the rotate, though. It's a slow alt walk as he's crouched up, looking to try to capitalize on a bit of a lurk play here.
Yeah, this is it. Is he going to be the spoiler here late round, or is this team going to catch him? So that's the big question. Do they know Teddy is there? No, and he takes down Kaysen after the opening pick. The opening kill leader goes down as well. So a 4-4 halfway into this round, and there are a couple quick trades coming out as well, putting us into a 3-3 with 1:20 left.
Yep, Schmeeks find one and then immediately return to C4 heads out. He's going to turn to the relative safety of the hard wall there. They're able to get the rotate done, but caught slacking, slipping. Lecky's going to find Teddy. Extra's going to answer back now into a 2-2. Oh, just over a minute left to go, and they've got that catwalk pressure. Now can open up and try to put some pressure onto that pillar area, maybe back towards that A chassis, where you, of course, like to hold up. They've got the Kiba barriers to rotate into the hallway. Put some relative safety here. 2-2. No more Selma charges. They put themselves in a position to get in.
Yeah, taking the slow approach again. This feels like we talked about this at the end. Space Shoobs not moving fast enough, giving DayStar the opportunity. It's sort of going backwards this time as well. DayStar they're not putting enough pressure yet on this team, and Space Shoobs just hanging back, waiting, watching.
Make a push in. That's going to be a swing onto the doorway. Exer's going to get ripped off the board. Now the plant's going to start going down. Fenrir to approach from the hallway. They've got the live ping going out. It's going to make the rotate, but
what a miss!
Zers understands that it's going to be coming from the backside. He takes a quick shot, and that's a good night sleep tide attack. He's going to find.
Oh, that was unfortunate, too, because Exeach had the shot, but went for the vault prompt instead, and unfortunately, ready there from the DayStar side, and they pick up their first attacking win, so they opened up the sight lines they needed. It was a couple of, that late round rotate from the Space Shoobs defense blocked off, prevented that, but opening up with the can opener, that was really the difference maker and allowed DayStar to find that win. A couple good kills, though, early on, sort of traded back and forth that reduced the overall man count. Some first floor action happening there. Kaysen maybe going to walk in just a little bit more careful. He found that opening pick and then completely caught off guard. So now, if you're just joining us, welcome everyone. It is map 3 of a best of 3 to find out who is going to the Mukbang Season 7 Grand Final to face Temper. Will it be the Space Shoobs or DayStar Rising?
10 seconds left.
Man, can't call it at this point, right? The back and forth has been amazing. So now we take it back, or not back down. First time, we're going to take it to the basement. They're going to do a little bit of area denial. Goyo on the board. Siege going to try to get active with that. But other than that, it's kind of a very similar lineup to what we saw on the top. This time opting for the Cade instead of the Bandit. We're bringing out the Warden instead of the Tuber out. They're going to be looking to hold on here. Start to finally get themselves up towards taking some of that first floor presence, right? And they have a couple people up there. In fact, everybody outside of Exer is up on the first floor. They know the importance of that vertical. They're going to try to hang on to it for as long as possible.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of the vertical. You said it, and then Scoob comes up big, takes down Teddy. Teddy with kill leader from the Space Shoob side, even though they couldn't find a win on that previous one. But wow, 2 big picks here from the DayStar Rising attack team, taking us into a 5v3. And you take a look at where the Space Shoob's defense is set up, all on the first floor, nobody downstairs in the basement. There's a big opportunity here for the DayStar Rising team to maybe take advantage of that, but they're playing slow, top-down clear, making sure they find all of these defenders.
Still putting the pressure on. Starting to potentially get themselves in a place to rotate back down to site. Jumps in, now can have some vertical pressure. There's a ping that goes off. Siege is able to find Kaysen off the board. Finally stopping the flow of bleeding. Exige.
Yo, what a double!
As Lecky goes down. That puts us into an equalized man advantage. So we sit 3-3 with just over a minute left to go.
That is 2 huge picks there for Exige. He walks up the stairs and able to catch 2 of the DayStar Rising attackers off guard again. That right now is shaping up to be a little bit of a theme. They feel like they're in a power position and then caught off guard by the Space Shoobs. They need to hold on and lock down. Exige is low on the health, so DayStar has got a little bit of an advantage at this point, and it's a basement site, and they are forcing this team to make the push down. So there's an awful lot of opportunity here for both on the Space Shoobs, even though Exige is a little bit low in the health department.
That's right, he's but a bull. Trying to open up some vertical here. Open up right on top of him. Rotates back into sight instead. They get rid of a Goyo charge. The potential for a hatch drop is there. Puts himself onto the chassis in a good position to take on both of those fights, but also to potentially be pinched out. Trying to find something on the vertical. 25 seconds left. Nobody really starting to make that rotate. Nobody put their body in danger. Smokes come out. They look to deny that default plant area.
Oh, what a shot.
Soapy's going to take Xer off the board, though, and that's now the plant starting to go down as the smokes and the fires going to stop them from making the rotate onto the default. Go's going to take a look in there. They're going to get a couple of shots. Soapy, yet again, good onto Exige, and Zer's going to clean it up.
I love that play downstairs in the basement where you use the math to open up the holes, even if that wall is electrified, and then just hold the cross angle as you make the plant down on the Exo side. Well played by DayStar Rising on the attack. They've managed to find a 2, and we talked about it. They finished off the last map 5 in a row. Picking up 2 here means they have picked up 7 unanswered rounds versus this Space Shoobs team. I gotta say, when we started off this round on Bank, I was not expecting to say that Space Shoobs was cleaning up. They were playing significantly better Siege overall, but DayStar has found a way to just, poke, prod, and take advantage of some of those Space Shoobs mistakes.
Yeah, it's something we've seen out of this DayStar roster before, right? In their previous iterations, is sometimes they can have a little bit of a slow start, but when they start to gain that momentum, it gets a little bit disastrous for the other side because it's not momentum that has changed in like gun skill. It's momentum that's changed in spotting out the mistakes, spotting out the gaps, and then punishing the other team for continuing to do those. So, Space Shoobs, it's time to get active. You're on the defense, you're back up onto the second floor. Get some of these early round engagements. Something I'd like to see, maybe Schmink get a little active on some of that spawn pick again. Create some of that ghost pressure where you're slowing down, getting into sight, slowing down to take some of that real estate.
You know what? And running the DMR again, he was devastating with that, but he's sort of switched into a little bit of a different role at this point. And you know, when we were seeing this Space Shoobs team play very aggressively from a defensive standpoint, again, really shut down DayStar on Bank. So they've sort of moved away from that strategy a bit. Certainly, this is a team that's played together for a long time. Like you said, a lot of different iterations on both sides of this map. And you know what? One of the reasons why we absolutely love this game to get to watch the players and the style change over time. That late round rotate there coming out after the attackers opened up at least one of those can opener holes in the main breach, but they're going to have to fight into connector through a second breach.
We've been seeing that a lot lately too. Making the risk, making that barricade rotate or making that barricade reinforced. And it's great because in what you thought was open, part of your push eventually gets denied to you, and that can be devastating when trying to make it in. They haven't got anything on this main breach yet, Run. And that's a little bit difficult because that's one of the things. You got to create those avenues and those cuts to cut off those defenders as they're making those rotates back into sight. They didn't get to that Cade down just yet.
I love this map too. Nighthaven was just a beautiful map. I think of it in the same way with Lair. Just a really beautiful map. But look at that. Ready, waiting for the C4 to go out over top of the wall, even though Ace is opening it, thinking he's got a little bit of relative safety. A perfectly tossed C4 over the wall. Well played there by the attackers. And that's the opening pick is, again, now DayStar stalling out a bit.
Yeah, Butcher's going to find one, but immediately he gets traded back onto Exige as he also finds the trade. Exige and Lecky both getting taken down. Now the man advantage by 2 is in the hands of the Space Shoobs. Their best opportunity here on Nighthaven to finally find their first round. Couple of shots in towards the Kiba barrier as the smokes go out, and they're going to find one walking up catwalk. Zers takes one, gets closer to equalizing on that numbers advantage. Now into a 3-2. Barbed wire giving away some locations, looking for that swing on the door. He's got the sound cue, but he doesn't make the play. Hold, a little bit of discipline, and it pays off. Butcher's able to take Zers, Extra able to take Scoob off the board, and they are finally going to get their first round.
Yeah, good defensive hold upstairs on the second floor, even though Teddy goes down unaware as the attacking team walks up that main warehouse. The rest of that map, they had it on lockdown, and so far we're seeing Kesa not having the same success that he did on Chalet, and right now that feels like it's helping direct part of the fortunes of this team. So now, we said, man, just that I had said it, DayStar won 7 in a row. Space Shoobs answer back. They heard it, they listened, they answered, and they stopped the train from the DayStar team. Getting close to tying it back up, but we're going to see a little bit of back and forth, my friend, here to start off. Mav and Azami go down, and boy, we talked an awful lot about how Azami had not been banned out recently. Shows up on this map.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, it's powerful, right? That static warfare to be able to recreate sight is a powerful tool. So yeah, get it off the board. You don't have to deal with those Kiba barriers. Means you don't have to bring something like a Flores or anything like that. It's a good ban. I like it off the board. And the Maverick is that plant that you like, right? It's off of it's creating some of those cheeky little head holes, getting yourself in for a default plant off Exo. So yeah, get it off the board. Gonna have to do it by the traditional means. A little bit of thermite play gonna be needed. Although they're not gonna bring any hard reach run. That's what's so fun about Nighthaven. You don't have to. You can go use some can openers and open up hatches and just put the pressure on from above. They do bring the ram out. They've got the Ash who can create some of that verticality as well. Doe could be on the board to suss out that roam game. There is a little bit of it, a little bit of investment. 3 people up onto the first floor.
To me, this
Schmink with a vector in hand.
This is a great adaptation here for the Space Shoobs, right? You go into this round with an expected strategy. Ban the Mav to make sure that DayStar can't run that same strat that they did such a good job on back on round 2. So now they've got this opportunity. Use the ram to open up the hatch, go and open up some more of the vertical on top of site, and they don't have to worry about that same exoplant with the hold in the same way. So forces DayStar into a different style of play, and no way we see Schmink take down Scoob again. Are you kidding me?
That was the win con there. That was the win con. He had to start getting used, and he has to put that outside pressure on to be able to make sure that they don't just get a free walk up to site. So he finds it. The pressure's on. Now they know they need to look at every door and every window as they're approaching. Sophie and Zer is able to take a couple. Now puts us into a 4v2 situation. A little bit of a showdown here on the cargo stair. They're just holding. Listening for that sound cue. Gonna start to push up. Quick pre-fire, and he's gonna push back down. Looking for maybe some of that wall bang on the verticality, but not gonna show his face just yet.
Man, look at all this defensive utility. You still have got the electrified walls. You still have got the Goyo canisters. DayStar has got to deal with all of this defensive utility if they're really going to make a play here. And again, feels like it's a little bit slow at this point. They've got a huge man advantage with just Teddy and Exer left alive on the defensive side. But look at that. Rooney Gates, all of this extra utility here. Twitch finally getting to work clearing it. Now, you've got 50 seconds left, so plenty of time for these attackers, but they have got to be careful.
Okay. Still holding out. 47 as it starts to count down. Drones getting in and doing their work. They're going to open up onto that main breach, which is what kind of the time was about. Give them another avenue to take a look. Rooney Gates going to potentially slow that down. Twitch getting in and capitalizing on getting some of those Goyos off. Now removed through Rooney Gates. Flashes start to ring in. They still got to wait for that Goyo that's sitting over there.
Oh, huge miss!
Their Exer's going to get taken off the board, and Teddy's going to be able to find one now into a 1v3. Teddy with all to do. He's going to try to get it. He finds one, but it's the trade. Sheesh.
Wow, DayStar doesn't win in the same way, but they do manage to find a win on the basement this time. And again, all the action happening over there on the Exo side. But Space Shoobs, even though they had all of that defensive utility, they fell apart at the end when DayStar just made the push. It wasn't very vertically based. It wasn't very direct. It was just good play and felt like, again, taking advantage of some of the Space Shoob mistakes. There was a couple spots where they lost some of those battles where they shouldn't have, playing in exposed places. And I know Teddy had the question mark that came out in chat, like, just unfortunate right now. Really nobody having a fantastic game yet. Exeed should have 4-4 right now, the kill leader on the Space Shoob side.
We talked about in the pre-show here, getting into Nighthaven. You got good coordination if your comms are on point. This can be an attacker-sided map. Currently, that's what DayStar is showing us. Up in the scoreline count. Space Shoobs looking to try to lock away 2 more to take us to a 3-3. Potential to see a 4-2 half on the attack side. I don't know. We're going to have to see something different out of the Shoobs. Going to have to do a little bit of adaptation. And what are they going to do to start it out? Well, they're going to bring the castle along. Extend themselves upstairs. Stop that potential for a quick plan, or at least delay it a little bit. This is the one that we saw from Stomp and M80X all the time on Nighthaven Labs. Take that small bit of space up top, a tiny bit of real estate, will allow you to get in and quick plant off the pillar. See if it plays out the same way. Start to put some pressure onto the top floor.
Yeah, tons of pressure here from the attacking team. 4 of those orange outlines upstairs. Everybody getting ready for it. The defense knows that it's coming, but no, Butcher going for the Deagle one-tap. All right, we're just having a little bit of fun tonight. But when you were down 3-1 in the scoreline, my friend, it's time to step it up. You can't be Deagle one-tapping against this team that can absolutely shut you down unless you back it up.
That's right. High risk, high reward. If he hits it, he's a hero. If he doesn't, well, yeah, it was an Eagle one tap that he missed. So, okay. You know, so start to put some pressure on towards that catwalk area. There's a C4 in hand inside of that second floor as they try to make the push in. Nobody getting any of that pivotal real estate just yet. We're a minute and a half left. At some point, this is going to become an absolute bloodbath because they are all holed up onto the second floor here.
Man, Butcher is just going crazy right now, holding down this spot. They're not letting DayStar gain even an inch. They are completely locked outside the main breach. They have not really made any sort of a push in, and they absolutely have to get IT control if they're going to be able to have an option to plant downstairs. And it looked like they were ready. They're waiting. They just need that control upstairs, and Butcher is shutting them down.
That's right, and now they've made their way back into sight. A C4 still in their hands, looking to maybe try to take it from the backside here. A little bit of a reassessment here, and now Blackbeard going to be that first bit of contest. A grenade goes out onto the rotate, looking towards the chassis. A C4 to answer back. Exer good for 2. Kaysen's going to take him off the board. Kaysen now good for 2 as the Blackbird's going to find some, but the rotate, holy flank, Batman, they're going to find it. Butcher takes 2. Sheesh.
This was a Butcher round. The man showed up absolutely shutting down the push upstairs, giving them no space, and then to continue to hold on to that power position. DayStar just could not figure out what to do to be able to push him out of that spot. They needed, I don't know, some utility, flashes, smokes, something to get rid of the Valkyrie, just holding down to that spot. The Deagle one tap was just a little too tough.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Oh, I love this game. Space Shoobs 1 away from tying us up on the first half of the first half. Wait, first half of the last map? Oh, how long have we been here, Whiskey?
Yeah, we're getting close on that 2.5 hour mark, my friend. It is a best of 3, 2 maps down, all tied up. It has come down to a 1-map showdown to find out who's going to the Mukbang Grand Final game to take on Temper, Space Shoobs, or DayStar Rising.
10 seconds left.
Both teams having some moments of brilliance on their previous maps, on their map picks.
5 seconds
A
to
little
go.
bit of a back-and-forth battle once again on Nighthaven, and honestly, it's exactly what we were looking
Attackers are
for.
moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
No. Soapy's going to put themselves onto the Blackbeard this time. A little bit more of a traditional setup here for the attack side. So we're going to see some Thatcher play. Means they are going to be getting that wall open, or at least giving it their best damn shot. There's 2 Breach Denial on the board. Cade and Bandit going to be putting some work in. And going to be a little bit tougher to put some pressure on them with the castle there. Right? That's one of the reasons he's brought along, to help solidify that hold, be able to solidify some protection and some safety. Not going to do it here on the back end. He's not even going to be able to get some down. A C4, the Jinxie C4, set and ready, takes one, but not going to find it. Blackbeard survives the C4 attempt. Now they're going to go for the wall.
Oh, I thought he was going to go for it, but honestly, he needed to back up just a little bit. Go over the top of that AC generator, and then wait until Blackbeard opens up the wall before tossing the C4. A little bit of a miss, unfortunately, and that's a couple of C4s already used up. 2 done and dusted. XE's the only one holding on to it. And Xer is backed off completely from that spot. And there it is.
There it is. That's the Jinxie C4. Not going to connect, though. They're just able to get away from it. I guess that's what we've dubbed that, right? That's Jinxie's spot.
100%. We watched him get a double on at Roller Sunday game on their way to a Roller Prime victory. Hell yeah, that's his spot.
Yeah, that was Mingo's first victory too, right? First grand final victory of Roller Sunday. That was a good game.
Yeah, his Roller Prime. That was a great opportunity to cast that one. And now we're watching this final minute. 10 tick down this attacking team. It's 10 left alive. Everybody left alive in this server. You said it earlier. It's about to be a bloodbath as the teams get in and get engaged. We've got complete warehouse control here from the attackers. The Space Shoobs have given it up, but it means that they've got very little opportunity to try and push direct into sight, and there is no pressure from the Riverside.
Yeah, find themselves posturing outside in that IT room. They're going to find one caught off guard. Kaysen's going to take Teddy down, and that's going to be lucky to find Exceed. So the body balance tips into the hands of DayStar yet again as they find themselves up by 2. Making the pressure. It's going to be a little bit of a rotate shot into the back. His Butchered is a low health scenario, but he's able to find one. Able to get away with it. Now looking towards the pillar. Lecky takes Xer off the board. Now puts us into a 4v2 low health situation for Butcher. Butcher good for 2. Soapy gonna take Smeek off the board now. Butcher, but a bullet, is gonna have to find himself trying to get 3. 8 seconds. They're gonna get the plant down, which means the attacker's gonna become defenders. Defenders gonna become attackers. And this is a pattern that we have seen a ton of times. 3 DayStar members alive, holding the last Shoob. Couple of pot shots towards the head holes there. Not going to find anything just yet. A rotate onto the catwalk means that there's going to be a split push here. He's got the intel. They know exactly where he's at, but that reveals Deimos' ping as well. Couple another shots. Nobody giving any sort of body away. Kaysen's going to take Butcher off the board, and DayStar is looking really good for some finals action.
Yeah, boy. Siege, you called it. What a role swap that we have seen between these teams. DayStar picks up 4 on the attacking side. That's a hell of a run when you combine that with the end of the Chalet map. They absolutely dominated here on what is the second half of this best of 3. The Space Shoobs look great to start it off, and they have definitely slowed down, running out of fuel. They need to pick it back up now in the second half on their attacking half on Nighthaven. Can they pull it off? Are we going to see them in the grand finals versus Temper, or is DayStar going to continue their dominance in the second half of this best of 3?
Yeah, a little bit of a split action here, headed onto the attacker side split for the half. And I imagine Space Shoobs is going to probably bring that same sort of aggression, right? They're very coordinated, which means Nighthaven can be a very good pick for them. They're going to take the Clash and the Mira off the board. Don't want to have to deal with that devastation that only Mira can bring to the table. And on the other side of it, Mav is kind of a staple of Nighthaven.
Absolutely. So good as an attacking operator to open up the main breach, whether or not it's electrified or not. He's got decent cover across the board, forces the defenders into using one of their C4s to take him down early, and it doesn't hit every time. It's not a guarantee. There's a lot of great advantages that Mav brings to this map. And then going down to the basement, opening up the sight lines, giving this attacking team cover for the XO side default plant. Not going to be able to take either of those opportunities here to start off, so I think that's a great ban there from the DayStar Rising side. It does leave the Blitz available, which Exceed showed some tremendous Blitz play at the start of Bank early on. And he showed it for a second, but looks like he might be switching onto the Fuse. The big question there is running the shield.
Yeah, almost undoubtedly, right? Almost a guarantee we're going to see Exige pull out that Fuse shield. No, he didn't! He's going guns up, baby. He doesn't want to be the spearhead. He wants to be that chaos agent that only Fuse can probably bring to the table. Doubled up on that hard breach run. You see it played out a lot like you would Clubhouse, heading to the gym bedroom where you're opening up every single avenue. Gives you multiple options, sets up many cuts, and allows you to take up quite a bit of space and readdress or reset when things potentially don't go your way right at first. So Thermite and Ace to be on the board. Butcher going to pick up that Thatcher as well, and look at that. Lecky with the Jinxie C4 ready to be sent. He gets droned out twice, and they're not able to really get any space yet. Look at that. It's a smoke that's going to come out. They're trying to bait the C4, and it's going to work. He's going to send it. Nobody's going to be on the receiving end of that one, though. They were able to get out of the way. C4 officially baited.
Yeah, honestly, W bait there. It would be able to hold on and prevent them from being able to pick up a kill for it. Well played there on the Space Shoobs attacking side, and it's going to be Butcher that opens things up for this team, picking up the initial kill. Now, they do manage to open up the main breach, but Scoob holding on to that angle and takes down the Thermite as he walks right in front. But there's the C4 kill. It's going to come out from down below playing the vertical game.
Yep, Teddy's going to be on the receiving end of that unfortunate treatment. They push in. That's going to be it down, and then a knife to finish it onto Soapy. Butcher good for 2 as he makes a statement walking into sight. It's now going to be the retake here. Zers comes up through the catwalk area, and they're going to get themselves in a plant. So this time, the 3v1 going to be on the other side of it. A quick shot towards Pillar. Not going to find anything just yet, but it does reveal his location. They're in an aggressive situation as well. He's not going to be able to find that first one, but Exige will take Zers off the board.
Damn, I thought for sure he had found that kill, but no, Fuse is the one that survives and takes him down. So after a 2-4 half on the attacking side, we see another attacking win on Nighthaven. This time, Space Shoobs picking it up, getting a little bit closer to tying it up. Man, we saw the tie game and the back and forth battle between these two teams. Moments of brilliance, big mistakes, small mistakes, as we watch this one go into round 8. And so close. It's too close to call.
Yeah, agreed. And you're right. The new look of Shoobs. The lore is there, Ace. We've got the DayStar where the core of those guys were Space Shoobs ACAD at one point. Butcher just recently making the switch over to Space Shoobs from that roster as well. Scoob is the sub in currently on the DayStar, who obviously Scoob.swag.shoob is just iconically known for his Space Shoobs play. So there's a lot of history here between these two teams. There's a lot of ego on the line, and you can see it reflected in the all chat.
5 seconds to insertion.
Hey, I love the banter that they're bringing back and forth, and man, it has come down. We said it, too close to call at this point, playing the basement, and just like we saw in Chalet with spawn peaks like crazy, this time it's going to happen again, and finally Scoob reverses the scoreline, takes down Schmink, one of the first times, and honestly, that was a hell of a scoreline that these two guys had. That's a huge victory, it feels like, for the DayStar Rising Scoob side.
Yes, yeah. Scoob is going to call him AEL the way he just delivered Retribution, my friend. They find Schmink off the board, and that's a huge first pick. They claim that man advantage. Now, they do, however, get that main breach opened up. So the potential to get in and, get an execute going, absolutely huge, even though they don't have that twitch to get those Goyos off the board. They're going to have to figure out a little bit of a different way to do it.
Well, it looked like they were going to use the fuse charge this time. Exige was ready there, holding, pops the fuse charge canister, and then deletes a ton of that defensive utility off the main breach. And then he used the can opener there to open up that wall. So they have got the sight lines that they need into the basement. Jason is holding on, trying to watch the vertical here, and you still have got 2 of the Space Shoobs holding upstairs, making some long rotates. But half the round, more than half the round still left alive. 9 players left alive in this lobby. The action is about to get heated. They have done a lot of the work that they already need to, and it's going to come down to those angles.
Yep. Butcher, I was about to say, looking to equalize there, and they're going to take Scoob off the board. They find themselves tied up, now have claimed a lot of that first floor control. Everybody on the defense moved back down into a bit of a bunker strat. It's minute and 10 as it starts to count down. B's onto the back stairs. Try to suss anybody out. Now it's an attention to the vertical. Now they got some soft breaches that they can use to open up that floor, and that hatch didn't get reinforced. A foregone conclusion that it will be opened up. Is that a C4? What was that?
Yep, that was the C4. You could hear it. You could hear the beeping going off, but there, Exige used his last fuse charge. As you can see, the floor is just riddled with explosions, completely torn apart at this point. But man, 4 DayStar defenders still left alive, and now the time is really ticking down. That final 30 seconds.
Yeah, it starts to feel good for the attackers. The fire rings out, not able to get themselves into a position to plant just yet. Might have to go off of the pillar to be able to get a good position, but that's tougher on the vertical play. Now you're going to see Grim rotating down those stairs, looking for somebody coming up on the flank. We've seen it happen a couple of times. It's been devastating.
Oh, that's huge!
Extra answers back onto Kaysen. 8 seconds left for the plant to go down. They've made their way down the stairs. Legion Goose going off, now into a 3-2, now into a 3-1, as history's repeated itself again. That 3-1 in the end round, and it's going to be put down very quickly.
And 2 in a row attacking for the Space Shoobs, and they have tied this thing up 4-4 as we head into round 9. Boy, what was a early, we'll call it the end of Chalet, early Nighthaven play was definitely all DayStar. The Space Shoobs are peaking, coming back at the right moment, and they have made a game out of it. It is 4-4. We're down to the final 4 rounds of regulation in a best-of-3 to decide who is going to the grand finals. 4 rounds now decide the winner.
It's not like there's nothing on the line, right? You win this game, you guarantee yourself some money. You guarantee yourself either some Taco Bell or the next league fees that you're getting into. So, a chance for cash always is going to bring out a little bit of passion. We head back up to the second floor. They start leading into that static warfare. Couple of
10 seconds left before insertion.
staples of the 2F defense. Zombie going to try to lock down that catwalk area. Fenrir on the hallway outside. He's stopping that potential aqua push in. Warden with the deployable. No river presence. It's a good defense run.
Feels like one of the things we've seen missing is the C4s. We have not seen them hit really from either side, but definitely on the DayStar side, missing some of those C4 marks and just causing the attackers to have a little bit of extra room to breathe, and you don't have to worry about those pieces of explosives. But man, this Twitch drone is unbelievable, just clearing out defensive utility. 1, 2, 3. Problem is, they has still got this main breach left alive, but Exige running the fuse again. I freaking love this. Gonna miss it, go for the fuse charge, gets one off before Cade gets rid of it, and no way, what a trick, what a play by Scoob.
No way was he able to pull that off with a fuse. They're going to try it again here. What is going on?
Dude,
They're not
he's
able
a
to
legend.
Scoop just absolutely dominating on that breach denial. You're bringing so much to the table to try to force him off of it. Now, he's looking for that underneath play, right? Now they've got to explore another avenue because we've only got one EMP charge left in the hands of Thatcher. So it's got to be something different. It's a crossfire. It's a vertical play. It's timed all three at once with the Thatcher EMP, but you have got to get that wall open.
They've got to get Cade out of position. He is playing lights out right now. He managed to get rid of 2 of the fuse charges and 1 of those exothermics, and they still have got that main wall completely closed up. That was a hell of a play from him. They've managed to open up some of these sight lines, but he is still holding on to IT. Get that man out of there.
Okay, 5 alive as there's just over 60 to go. That's going to be the first. Butcher to take Soapy off the board. Man advantage into the hands of the Shoobs now as they look to take that score line advantage as well. Pressure onto the catwalk. Nobody responding just yet. Azami's not there anymore. That was the one that was taken off the board. So it's a bit of some free real estate now. Not without contention. Still holding on. Kiva barrier to keep him safe onto the doorway. Scoob still sitting into that IT area. Exige takes Zers off the board. Now the man advantage in a big way is going to be had. Plant starting to go down. Looking towards it, but some siege timing going to take Teddy down. Extra finds one, but a C4 onto Butcher. Going to be huge. Scoob good for 2. Looking for a third. Schmink goes down. Now into a 1v2 situation. Dealt with. Lecky deletes.
Damn. DayStar Rising picks up the win off the back of, honestly, incredible gameplay there by Scoob and just mistakes on the Space Shoobs side. And they just could not find a way to get him pushed out, and he capitalized in every way possible. Combination of using the util, clearing the attackers, and picking up a C4 kill. Man, we saw Butcher have an incredible round early in this game, and Scoob has answered back in a big way, giving his team the boost. 5-4 as we head into round 10. 3 rounds away, my friend, from deciding potentially who is the winner here, unless we need a little bit of overtime. And honestly, we've made it all the way to map 3. I would not be surprised to see overtime at this point.
Wouldn't be surprised and would welcome it, right? This feels like one that's going to need all 15 to get it done. We'll see. Down to the basement. Intel on the board. Area denial. That Goyo is going to free up some defenders to play up onto the first floor, stopping that incredibly quick action that we've seen. You know what I'd love to see from the Shoobs here to tie it up? Just a quick plant. A smoke and plant. Bring the Claz, bring the Monty, open things up. Just send it. Be tough though. Bandits on the board. They're going to be tricking.
I mean, they got rid of the Cade, right? The Cade was absolutely the bane of their existence on that previous round. DayStar doesn't have the Mav. This is going to be, or has banned out the Mav, so Space Shoobs doesn't have it. Sort of a little bit of balance back and forth, but without the Thermite, without the Mav, I think it's going to make this definitely a little bit of a difficult push in. Could they pull off a quick plant? Maybe, but it feels like it's got to be a little bit more tactical to take down this DayStar Rising team. But they cannot afford any mistakes. They brought along the vertical, and here it is, the bandit trick coming out, and you can see all of those down. He's going to be able to catch one, but prevent the other.
That's right. Now that they got a breach opened up, they're going to go and put some attention to the vertical, right? You got to take a little bit of the space, and then you can get yourself in for that default plant. Hard to retake once you've got that main breach opened up. Your your cross is held. Still holding on to that singular wall. Casey going to do his best to make sure that they can't get in and take that space as well. From inside, Scoob, going to see that first contest. Blitz potentially pushing in. Exige wants to take the fight to him. They're not going to do it. He's going to rotate back down the side.
God, the thing about this, both of these teams have got contribution from everybody. It's not the one-sided maps we saw in some of the previous. Everybody contributing, everybody a player here when it's come down to the end. We've got just about half this round gone. You can see the drones coming out from the space ship sides. Multiple looking to find these defenders. And look at this, another C4. Is it going to hit the mark? There is a pair of attackers there. This, a trio? This is the game changer.
One up.
He gets it!
Oh, he got it! He
No
shot it
way!
out of the air! Aim Labs pays off, and now they can take some space. The push down the exo stairs gonna put Blitz in a prime position to disrupt the midway point of this site. They've got it set up to where they can get a default going. They just gotta put a little bit of attention towards the potential rotate. Right? The lurk coming from behind, which eventually will be there. Teddy! Gonna take Scoob off the board, a well-timed headshot. Now they're in a position to get themselves into plant. He's got the cross set. Bees start to go out. Blitz posturing right outside of default. C4 goes off up top to open up some rotate. Still up onto the second floor. Zer's gonna try to play spoiler in the end. They take the main breach
No
down,
way.
which means
No
they can
way.
now rotate and put some pressure onto it. Nobody there onto the door. It's gonna be a free kill, but they did get the plant off. Teddy goes down. They're going to be able to pick him up. It's a 4v2 currently. Up top, Zer's playing the lurk. He finds one. And now the defense in a great position to potentially get it. Killed by the fire as the down goes, as the down happens. Lucky to take Teddy off the board.
No
Still
way!
onto that main breach. Pistol popping, body dropping, but they're going to get it. Defense is going to be able to pull it off. Huge play by DayStar.
What a roller coaster ride that round was. No way, my friend. I thought for sure the cross that they had in play with Exige planting with the shield on his back was going to be the difference maker and tie this thing up. And no, DayStar picks up 2 in a row and puts themselves on match point. And it's not just match point. It is match point, series point, and semi-final. Send me to the grands point.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Man, that was a crazy round. Okay, we head to the Tersh side. The test on the Tersh. We've got to see the Shoobs shoob it for 2 in a row. Perfectly. To take this to overtime. Test on the Tersh is a good place to see the start of that. Get a little bit closer to potentially getting the score line tied up. Defense has got themselves some pretty static hold here. Albeit missing what I would feel one. No castle on the board, but they do bring the Azami along. So they still have some of that trench warfare capabilities, but not as much as a dedicated castle.
Out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Man, my heart is racing right now. We said at the onset, too close to call. Even though DayStar has put themselves on match point and picked up 2 huge rounds in a row, it still doesn't feel like they've got this thing on lockdown. This is a Space Shoobs team that can absolutely dominate on the attacking side. We saw them pick up a double attacking win to start this off, and you said it. It is the tertiary site, the best opportunity here for the attackers to pick up another win. We saw this played out once, round 5, when DayStar was on the attack, and that was a Space Shoobs victory. So if they can manage to push this defense out from up top, but no way Kaysen is going to get at least one. Wow, Azami coming in clutch.
For that side of it. Yeah. He does do the impact trick to stop the Selma charge action. Pays the price a little bit. Lecky gets taken down. There it is! Jinxie C4 is going to take Exige off the board.
That is the greatest.
That's going to be a huge pick. Now the body bounce
bro.
tipped into the hands of DayStars. They find themselves up by 1. Ayo, Wolfman, thank you for the tier 1. 27 months is insane. That is legitimately insane. Thank you so much for your support.
Solid legend, amigo, and yeah, Kaysen picking up the all right. C4 over the top to put them in a one-man lead right now, and that was the hard breach going down. So unfortunately, the Shoobs do not have any more of that hard breach operator in play. They still got a couple nades, but they're going to have to rely on the vertical there from Teddy and the DMR from Schmink to try and shut this thing down. And Butcher's been on a tear, 13-6-1. Playing the IQ, so they know where all of this defensive utility is at. They have just got to work on cleaning it up, and they are running out of time, my friend. 55 seconds left in the semifinal match point.
Yeah, and they claim that man advantage. We're going to have to see the Shoobs really step it up here, including this first pick. Scoob looking to play spoiler against his former team, and he's going to do it. Butcher gets taken off as the transfer's toasted. Xer gone. Teddy going to find the first stop the flow of bleeding there. Schmink's going to take Scoob off the board. So now we find ourselves into a 3v2. DayStar looking to put this one away as they're holding on to that man advantage. 26 seconds, still pushing into the top floor. The hold on to River. Looking towards it. Kaysen's going to find Teddy off the board. And yet again, run. It's a 1v3 with Destiny on the line. Smokes come out. He's picked the diffuser up. Schmink, who was the just absolute spoiler on the first map, going for the plant. It's a prone position. He's going to get taken off the board.
Kaysen!
DayStar's going to take it. DayStar to the finals, rising just like the stars of this young team. They're going to find themselves in a best-of-5 mukbang style.
Oh, wow, my friend. 7-4 victory. A huge pickup there from the end by Kaysen. Lecky ending up as the MVP, and DayStar, big GG's for coming up the victors here in the semifinal game. You said it, my friend. Destiny for the grand final.
The mukbang grand final.
Hell yeah, my friend. What a play. What a game between these two. It didn't take overtime to get there, but man, it came down to the photo finish and was just honestly a hell of a fun ride to be here with you guys.
Yeah, not just the players. We just thank you so much for a great game. Chat, you guys were amazing the entire time. It's hard to keep a composure and laughing reading some of the stuff that you guys had in the chat today. This was just a good game of Siege. This is what I needed. I needed a best of 3 today that just about went the full distance to get it done. You know, and if you want more of that, you can check us out on X. I'm at glitter_whiskey. He's at racing ENGR, and together we are the Siege Double Shot.
Yep, you got there, my friend, and so did we.
In the end.
Made it. Hell yeah. Now, Ed, we don't know. I know somebody asked in the chat, when is the grand final? That is yet to be scheduled. Now it's going to be DayStar taking on Temper in the Mukbang Season 7 grand final, confirmed at this point. So we just don't know what day, but I can guarantee you, my friends, it'll be right here.
That's right. And just to retouch, when you're getting into that new Siege event that's going down T4 through T1, just get in and get it done. If you want us to cast your game, add us on Twitter, add us on X, and tell us what your team is and who you're playing and when you're playing, and we'll do our best to try to showcase as much of your guys' games as we possibly can, trying to bring as much Siege as we can to the community. If you want to play some ranked with us, you want to hang out for some Siege play, join the Discord. It's discord.gg/doubleshot. You can put that cool SDS tag on at the end of your name should you choose to do so for coming and hanging out with us. But for us, that's it, Run. We're done. It's over. No more Siege to be had this night. The lights start to dim. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it was a great game. Honestly, you said it. I needed this. You needed this. You know what? Sometimes the day jobs drag us down, but you guys bring us back up, and we hope we could do the same for you because it was a hell of a good night.
That's right. Absolutely. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the follows. Almost at 6,900 on Twitch. All of the platforms going up. We just appreciate the support. But now we must bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.